The Seminole Headlines begins right now. A few seconds late. But that's not on Director Matthew. That's on a bug in the system. That there was no panic. There's no panic around these parts. There's Ira. There's Corey. We're all here. It's game week. Welcome in. Good to be with you.
Has anybody been fired yet?
Well, if it's up to him, it's about to happen. Because I could see the frustration on Director Matthew's face. And he's a calm dude.
He's got a quick trigger finger. Once he hits the red line,
that's it.
People's heads are rolling.
0 to 100, just like that. It is game week. Welcome in. It's exciting. Our thanks to Register Sausage. Yay, sausage. Got to be cooking up the sausage this week, right? I mean, celebration time, boys.
No doubt. Corey, what's going to be your sausage of choice on game day? The andouille?
Yeah, man, come on. Andouille are probably no, it's andouille. There's or andouille, whichever one you want. And I like andouille. I know you're more of an andouille fan, but yeah,
I did that to cater to you.
Yeah, that stuff is legit, and I feel like it's maybe I'll save it for New Orleans. I feel like it's more festive for New Orleans.
You can go with the jalapeno cheddar, which is a quality play,
choice,
or the regular old fashioned, man, the regular, just pork sausage goodness. I was going to ask you guys if you want to come over Friday evening after the happy hour show that you guys are having over the Corner Pocket.
Well done. That's the way to work that in there.
See if you guys wanted to come over to the house, maybe have a couple beverages. But I don't know, man. It's hard. Once Corey's in the CP, it's hard to get him back out of the CP.
He pretty much lives there.
You need a lasso. You need a rodeo clown or something to get me out of there.
Jimbo, we used to have him dancing to the house music. Remember? It was great.
Right. But could I tell you, if I had some registers cooking up on the grill,
I still need to drop off the red stripe for you. I
wasn't going to say anything.
No, I was. I still need to get by and drop off some red stripes and have a cold one with you, man, in honor of the Orioles taking 2 out of 3 from the Buccos.
But maybe, Ira, if that's your question, maybe we will come over Friday night for a little pregame. It needs to be a tradition. We've never done it, and this team has been horrific for 5 years. We've got to start switching up some traditions, and maybe it's Friday night at Ira's house
before the
opener.
Yeah, we can get loose. It's fun. My dad comes into town. Would he be allowed to swing by too?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How about actually you guys can stay at CP?
We'll just have my dad swing in.
Yeah. Just bring your dad by.
Your dad can spend the night.
Well, he's going to come by the CP as well.
Good.
We're all there. We'll hoist a Guinness and
make Kim sleep on the couch.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to cuddle up to
Mr. Cameron's here. Hey, what are we supposed to do, Kim?
Tell me a bedtime story.
Good times. I just got done. You guys were at practice. I interviewed Matt Moscona from ESPN 104.5 in Baton Rouge in New Orleans, and as well, he's in 3 places: Alexandria, New Orleans, and Baton Rouge. Really, really good guy. Good guy to talk to. His insights were greatly appreciated. That will be up on the site tomorrow.
I didn't know he covered Duquesne.
Doesn't. No,
that's what I said.
LSU
it's like, when do we
game,
talk to the Duquesne guy, man? Like,
not
that's
gonna happen.
Crazy.
But we'll get that up, and we'll have that interview. We'll probably use it for next week as well. So we got some insight. We went segment group by segment group. You're right. I should hyper focus on Duquesne.
I listened to a little bit of one of his podcasts, like last week, I guess, after their scrimmage that they got to watch, which is cool. Brian Kelly reaching out to the local media.
Oh, Brian Kelly. Good job, man. I hope that's a more commonplace around college football.
Is it Matt? Matt?
Matt Moscona, yeah.
He sounded a little bullish about the Tigers.
Well, here's what I think. I bet them on the over this year on their win total, because I just think not having a lunatic at the helm is helpful.
Yeah.
They had, I was telling Corey before we came on.
The production meeting that you missed.
Well, everybody who watched the draft had to have been scratching their head. They had 10 players get drafted, and they finished with 6 wins.
Second only to Georgia, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're sitting there looking at Ed Orgeron like, what the hell, brother? And they have, and this is where I worry for Florida State. Now, conversely, they're worried about some things too, but
Orgeron was worried about some other things.
Ed was worried about ladies at the gas station, well, whatever it might be. Yeah, Ed had worries at all times. But the thing is, they had real talent there, and they still do. The cupboard is not bare. He inherits a really good situation at wide receiver. I think they have the second best receiving core in the SEC. He's got a good situation on the defensive line, where 3 of those guys are projected to go in the first 3 rounds. So that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. They have some question marks in the offensive line. They feel pretty good, obviously, about the backfield, even with the suspension of Emory. So I think Jaden Daniels is going to win the job at quarterback for them, is what it sounds like talking to him today too. I think that the main thing is their offensive line, and I think Florida State will be worried about its offensive line, not because it's not better. It's a lot better, but that's a real good defensive line they're facing. So that'll be a fun game.
Yeah, and we'll break down Duquesne here shortly, Corey. It's gonna be
I don't even know.
You don't like the way we're just merely dismissing Duquesne?
No, it's Duquesne week, man. It's not LSU week. We got all the time in the world to talk about LSU. Well, not that much, because we'll be in New Orleans.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of time.
But still, man, we got it. You'd think we'd have learned our lesson last year.
No. No,
it was our fault.
I also didn't break down the UMass game that Florida State played, and no, man, it's okay.
I'm just saying, we did the same thing last year. I mean, I feel like
it's not the same thing at all.
I think it's more about Florida State this week is what I should say. I think every week it's more about them. It's more about us than who Florida State is.
Are you running out of that tunnel on Saturday?
But I'm saying,
Coach.
I'm doing the Norvell speak. But literally, I think it's more just about Florida State. Like, how good is Florida State going to be?
Well, we won't know because they beat Duquesne.
Let's hope.
So, I mean,
let's hope.
Corey,
what do you think the score?
We've established this situation. I was giving away 24 points last week in the first half. If you want it, this is not a game. It's not much of a game. They'll work out communication. That'll help out a lot. Like I'm talking about coaches working out communication, subbing guys in and out, all those kinds of things that happen on game day that can be chaotic. They're not going to figure anything out about who they are physically. Not in this game.
No.
Would this be a Cat 4 maintained? Like what?
This is a tropical depression.
Hey, I will tell you, every home opener is in a weird way a bit of a Cat something, right? It is the home opener. There are people all around this great state and in the region in general that have been longing to get back together around a tall, cold one and some delicious eats like register sausage.
Correct.
Outside Doak Campbell Stadium, where they have the smells, the fresh cut grass, the smell of the barbecue, and
a lightning delay.
Now, here's you. There you go. You're going to undercut our celebration.
It's late August, man.
He was painting a beautiful tapestry of college football.
I threw a dash of reality.
This is what it is, right? Yeah. This is where you go and you get to hang out. You got the TV up. You're hanging out. You got the music. People throwing around, playing cornhole, drinking. Good to see you, Bob. It's been 6 months. How the hell are you? You know, all of it. It's right there. It's glorious.
Why cornhole? Like, where did that name come from?
Yeah, I know you can't help but think, well, you want to say hey now every time.
Because some people, I think they call it like bag toss or something. No, it's like the official name. Well, that's not much better. You're right. You're right. But
that's not the route we're going.
Cornhole. There's no corn involved. I mean, I get the whole part, but where does the corn come from? Is it corn seeds?
Maybe back on the farm you play with corn. You're throwing corn through a hole in a piece of wood.
That's food. Well, you don't throw my food into a hole.
You're not making situations any better.
Yeah, that's true.
How about a game of salad tossing, everybody? Let's go. Here we go. I mean, what are we doing?
I'm going to look up how cornhole got its
Hide
name.
the sausage.
Yeah.
Cornhole seems really quite acceptable.
Might be our best option.
So anyhow, that's what's going to happen this Saturday. The celebration, friends getting back together, the return of football, and what we hope is Florida State embarking on a season to remember. And I was saying yesterday on the show that I think a lot of times when you turn the corner from being not a very good program or a program that's been mired in something below mediocrity these last several years, the second you have a season that gives you a glimpse, that provides that hope again, like we go back to 2010, that season was fun. That was a great season because everybody could see the writing on the wall. Like, oh, this is going to get turned around. Florida State's moving in the right direction. They need a few more hosses in here. Got to, step it up in recruiting, get some depth, but they got some dudes now. And I think this could act as that season, that type of season. Florida State's not elite. I don't like Florida State to finish any better than third in the Atlantic. If I had to pick it today, I'll just give you a clue. I'm picking LSU to beat us, but I think we'll beat Louisville. So that's the route I would go on those two games that we keep circling. I would probably lean towards Florida State beating Louisville. But it can be a season where you win 8 games and you begin to see that it's the vision that Mike Norvell and his staff have and that depth that we talk about of talent and the floor being raised. It could all be on display this year, and we're starting Saturday.
But probably it's starting Saturday, but like I was thinking about this, and I think we've talked about it before, like other than like negative stuff, there's nothing you're going to take away from the Duquesne game that like gives you that I think, and it's kind of unfair, but it's just the reality of it. If Florida State has 560 yards of offense, it's going to be, it was a 1AA team.
I don't know, man. I think people are so hungry, man. I think people to see a Florida State football team
they'll be
score
happy,
points.
But you can't really extrapolate, or there will be a lot of people in their minds doing the gymnastics. Like, well, we can't. It's Duquesne. So if you beat them 55-11, it's like, well, it was Duquesne. Now, if you beat them 28-20, that's where you have that's where you take a lot out. That's where you take a lot out of the game, is if you struggle or limp around a bit.
That's realistic. But again, I don't think this program's at a point where against anybody, people are like taking it for granted if you go out and score 50 or 60 points. I just think
the UMass game last year they did, because that was an awful team.
But that was in the middle of the season.
Yeah, opening with a win.
It's the season opener.
Incredible.
Exactly. If you have a season opener where you score a bunch of points, it at least gives you a good feeling going, and you'll be realistic. I think most people are going to be realistic. Some people won't. They'll think, okay, we're going to roll past LSU. But again, I just think there is something good about those opening. And you've been saying it for 6 years or 7 years, whatever they've been in this streak. Play somebody you can beat in the first week.
Yeah.
And that it just changes it continues the excitement that you're talking about in preseason, gives you something going now. If you go out and get drubbed in week 2, that's all gone. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think they're going to get drubbed. I think it's a close game against LSU. They could win it. Just because I would, as if we sit here today, if I placed a bet, I'd place it on LSU.
That's because you talked to Matt. He's hyping up LSU.
No, well, in order to talk,
you
should have turned him around.
Yeah, talk to Floyd. Talk to your man Bar None.
I talk to him all the time. Here's the thing, and maybe I'll turn Matt around tomorrow. I'm on his show.
There you go.
But here's what I'll tell you.
Yeah, Matt's gonna be like, "Oh crap, the
Noles are we had a real problem." No, here's the deal. In order to do the interview, I got in the depths of the reading, man. I wanted to see what all was there. And here's what you realize. And this has little to do with scheme and little to do with what I think we're going to try to do to beat LSU and what I think they're going to do, where the mismatches are and all that. It made you really realize Ed Orgeron was a clown. Like, such a short time removed from winning that national championship and having the greatest offensive season in college football history, he turned that place into a zoo. And the reason I say that is when I went back through and saw that they had 10 players drafted, and then I looked at the recruiting rankings from the last 5 years and saw the stockpiling of talent, that's where I got a little concerned. They didn't lose because they weren't good. They lost because he was an idiot. And they quit on him. And when you go back through and start looking at, there's a lot of sites that obviously do a good job of projecting guys off this team or any team for that matter that have a chance to be drafted, right? So you look at like draft eligible players, the guys where they would go. LSU's got a lot of guys that are well thought of by the NFL. Florida State's got a couple right now. So you're just looking at a talent disparity right now.
But what I do think is if you're looking at Florida State, and the positives for Florida State is I think they're a more complete team. They don't have the stars I think that LSU has.
Right.
But I think because it's year 3, I think they've done a better job of shoring up some deficiencies. LSU, the fact that they're moving offensive linemen around like 2 weeks into camp, that's not a great sign. And they're struggling with center. They're having several issues.
They moved their tackle to center the other day, and he's an experienced player, but he hasn't done a lot of snapping.
So I'm just saying Florida State could take advantage of some weaknesses that LSU has, whereas LSU has some strengths that FSU can't match. But I think FSU might be more competent in those situations. We'll see. I just think it's going to be a good game.
I'll be honest. I'm fearful again that it's a little too much LSU talk. I don't care, man. I don't care. Other than their running back is apparently going to be suspended for the first 2 games, which is very good news for Florida State. Man, I'm all eyes on Duquesne. By the way,
why don't you break down Duquesne?
Yeah, why don't you tell us what we should be looking at?
So here's the thing about Duquesne. The coach is in his 18th year, which is bizarre. That doesn't happen a lot at that level.
Schmitty.
So they do
have a hell of a run against Sacred Heart going.
They do have like a program in place. This is not UMass. Like, this is a better team than UMass by far. And in fact, it's probably a better team than Jacksonville State was last year.
No, they're
Hush
not.
yourself.
No, they're not.
How about this?
No, they're not.
Jacksonville State had more athletes.
But Jacksonville State was 3-9 last year. It was a bad Jacksonville State.
Put Jacksonville State against their schedule.
Yeah,
Corey,
probably
it's not
7-5. It is close. Jacksonville State was.
It's not close. You're talking out of your ass. It's not close.
No. All of a sudden, he's an expert on 1AA football too.
Oh, go look up Duquesne.
Their coach got fired in the middle of the season.
You're arguing something completely different. I'm arguing talent for talent. Jacksonville State was way better than Duquesne.
Team for team. A team that is a program. A team that's a program.
Take the 24 points. I'm going to give you 24 points. Take him.
No. Is that your just answer everything? Is that your answer? Everything is just 24 points.
I'm calling you out. You're bluffing. I'm giving you points.
What am I bluffing? I just said they were going to win 55-11.
Well, then why are you trying to tell me that they're on par with Jacksonville State? They're not on par with Jacksonville State.
They are a less talented football team
by far
than the one you're playing. Than you are. Duquesne is much less talented than Florida State is.
It's not even close.
My point is they are a program. The guy's been there. He's established. They have a scheme. They have defense. That's all I'm saying. They're competent, poor, untalented football team.
I can't wait till we're going to be in the press box.
Jacksonville State was a talented, incompetent football team that somehow won that game.
If it's going to be like within 10 points at halftime, Corey's going to be. I try to tell him.
I'm not. This is what happens. I wasn't even making that point. I'm just saying that Duquesne does have. It's not a guy that's on his way up. He's been there for 18 years, and they win games. They win games up there in that conference. but they win games. They've won like 21 games
Your
the last 2
point
years.
that he has been there for 18 years and established a way of doing things as well taken.
That's
they
all
can't play a lick. They're going to get beat by 1,000. It's not a game.
All right, let's hope. For heaven's sake, let's hope, man. Let's hope.
Your point is well taken, but it means nothing.
No, but I just want him to know I get what he's trying to say.
But you're not. They shouldn't have a ton of busts. You're not going to just. They will be well coached.
Fine.
But that's good. That's a good test.
Yeah,
that's a better test than UMass. UMass was a train wreck. That team was awful. That's the worst team that's ever played in Doak besides maybe Murray State 10 years ago.
Well, wasn't Petrino's brother or whatever that came in here?
You're right.
That's 80 some odd points.
Those are the Mount Rushmores.
Yeah,
that Idaho team was really
was
troubling.
Something to behold that day.
And just like Jimbo had something against them.
Well, that was crazy. And then he was mad about it afterwards with the handshake. And Jimbo looked at him like what's wrong with you?
Jameis played
so
like
I dropped 80 some odd points.
7 drives. But Jameis only played like 7 drives.
Oh, man. Seminole Headlines is off to a great start. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Oh, well, hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah, well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Hi, this is Dustin Rivest. Today, I humbly ask for your vote as I look to be your next County Commissioner for District 5. I'm a lifelong resident of District 5 and look forward to serving you, your family, and our entire community. It's time to elect people who solve problems on a daily basis, and I will bring that unique perspective to our local leadership with my private sector experience. Please, take 5 minutes today and get out and vote. Dustin Rivest, District 5. Paid for and approved by Dustin Rivest for County Commission, District 5.
Physical stress on our bodies can take its toll as the years go by. Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at TOC is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all your orthopedic needs. And now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online. That's teamtoc.com.
Hey Tallahassee, it's Sarah with Seminole Auto Glass. You're probably driving right now, which means you're surrounded by glass. Did you know that each piece is made differently? Your windshield is 2 sheets of glass with a thin plastic in between. This allows it to take an impact without going all the way through. Side and back glasses are typically tempered. This strengthening process is what allows them to be shattered in the event of an emergency. Regardless of the glass or how it breaks, we can help. Trust your local auto glass experts. Seminole Auto Glass, proudly serving the Big Bend for over 15 years. Better call Seminole.
When I get home from work, I'm ready to relax. So I call Swain Pools and Spas to put my pool in the back. I call Swain Pools and Spas. Now I'm soaking up the fun when I want to.
Truckloads of new and used Caldera and Hot Spring Spas are available now at Swain Pools and Spas. Don't wait. Get to Swain Pools and browse the best inventory to find the spa of your dreams. These won't last long, so come see us today. Just look for the huge sign on Tharp Street or call 386-7113 for Swain Pools and Spas.
I know what you're thinking right now. Where can I find a place to get my car fixed and also check out some awesome new hot tubs and spas while I wait? Well, you're in luck. Because when you bring your car or truck in to get serviced at Tallahassee Car Care, it's under the same roof as Swain Pools and Spas for tires, brakes, bodies, tune-ups, oil changes, and all the service you need to get back on the road. Choose the certified technicians at Tallahassee Car Care. Drop by our shop on Tharp Street or visit online at TallahasseeCarCare.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Seminole Headlines rolling on. By the way, question we got in the chat, if it does turn out to be a lopsided affair instead of a nail-biter, as Corey's predicting.
Right.
Brett writes, serious question. If this game is a blowout at half, how much does JT play in the second half? Well, he better not play in the second half. I would hope not.
Maybe
What's
one
the
series?
score?
I mean,
What's the score to say I'm not putting you back in the game?
Remember
Like,
when Jimbo would like put EJ back out there for once, like to start there, and then he would hate.
No, he'd be playing in the middle of the fourth quarter.
Well, because
a
lot of times he'd put him in and be like, okay, after this next series.
Yeah.
But then he'd get mad about something in the series
Yeah.
and make him go
Roll
back out there again, and then get mad about something else, and they'd end up playing 4 quarters.
If you're up 56-7 or something in the third quarter, I just don't see the point in playing.
But
him.
what if it's like 31-7? You still probably play him in the second, at least one drive. You want to get one. You want to get one more score and then get out. I would think.
It really doesn't matter. It really does matter how efficient they are, how well they play when they're out there. I mean, if they get what they want in 4 series from him, I don't know what you're going to discover in series 5 or 6 or 7.
You obviously played more football than these two guys. How much of it would be like? Do you want to get some guys like your offensive linemen that are going to be playing 85 snaps in real games, close to playing? You'd probably want them to play close to 60 and not just 44 because they might be dog tired on the next Sunday if they're not used to playing.
If they're
85.
not in shape by now, Corey. They're not going to be in shape in 1 week.
So you don't think that would be
that one day is going to have a big difference?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I'm serious. I get why you're asking. I don't think there's a lot to learn in this game. And people may disagree with me. That's fine. I don't think there's a lot to learn here. I like that they have it because they get to work out the bugs in the system. You know, like there'll be a smoothness to the operation a week later because you can work out the kinks here. But it's such a physical mismatch. It's like if you're in a situation where I don't know a good example, but if you're a senior late in high school team playing an 8th grade team. And what are you really learning by running by those kids with your starters for 3 quarters? Like I'm giving everybody else an opportunity.
I don't like the analogy. I would say Duquesne's a JV team.
Okay.
Not an 8th grade team. That's just our difference. And a well-coached JV team at that.
But my point would be, you're going to need to see Tate Rodemaker get reps here. Yeah. And, this is a game to play him. Let's call it the way you would call it if he had to go in and play because Jordan missed a series or a quarter. Go out there and see how they do. See how crisp can they make it? How well do they execute? Any game where you're favored by a gazillion, the coach rarely talks about the other team and pretty much talks about handling your own business. Coaches are always going to remind each player of
Is there a line on this one?
I have not seen it. I may be off the board.
It's the Cameron line.
I'll go look.
It's 24.5.
Well, we'll find it because Director Matthew and I are both sporting guys, so he'll look it up right now. But I would tell you that every coach I ever played for and every coach I've ever heard talk in games where teams are favored by, 5 and 6 touchdowns, they're talking a lot about, look, man, go out, take care of your business, execute what we've told you to do, and make sure that those reps mean something. And let's get these other guys in. Let's give these other guys an opportunity to get their feet wet too. Let's see how they play.
I think the unique thing with this game in particular for Florida State, especially on offense, is, Johnny Wilson's never really done much at the college level. Deuce Span's done next to nothing. Trey Benson has done absolutely nothing. Like, I think it is important for those guys to have good moments. Like, even if it is against Duquesne, you want them to do well in a game that's televised with people in the stands. That I think matters. So you do want to accomplish that.
I think the reps are going to be much more important on the offensive side of the ball because you've got so many new faces. I think there's a chance, looking at the depth chart, there's a chance 7 of the 11 starters will be guys either brand new starters or with Darius's case starting in a new position.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a completely different offense than you had a year ago. I mean, really the only holdovers would be Jordan, Dylan Gibbons, and Robert Scott.
Pokey.
And if Cam McDonald starts or Pokey wins that job. But yeah, it's going to be a very new offense. So I definitely think on that side of the ball. I think on the defensive side of the ball, the quicker you can get Jamie Robinson and Akeem Dent
Get
and
him off the
Kalen
field.
Osh off the field, that's in Robert Scott and Robert Cooper and Fabian Lovett. Those guys maybe get the ends going because those guys are new. But those guys that on that defense, those guys have played a lot of football. They've had success. Those guys need to get off the field. The offense, man, I'd let them play for a while because it is a really new group overall.
Yeah, but you also run the risk of what if Johnny Wilson twists an ankle when you're up by 5 touchdowns
When
in the
he's
third quarter?
stepping on some guy's shoulder from Duquesne.
Yeah, when he's doing a Heisman pose.
I think that honestly they'll have a snap count. They'll decide this is what we want to do going into the game, and how many series that turns out to be. I don't know. Could be 3 series, could be 7 series, could be 5 series. I don't know. But
would you have a snap count or a production count? Like I would go into this game, and this is Corey Clark, head coach, saying I want Deuce Spann to catch 5 passes. I want Johnny Wilson to catch 7 passes, and I don't care how it happens or when. We can do it all in the first half. We can do it all in the first 3 drives. I want those guys because they are going to be a huge part of this offense to feel good about themselves going into a completely different environment the next week.
Yeah, I understand where you're going, and I don't completely disagree with that.
There you go. That's a step up from where we've been early in the show.
Completely disagree.
Completely disagree.
I don't need them to get fat on Duquesne. I need them to be healthy for LSU. So one of the things that I would say is I would have – they're going to call them a vanilla game that you'll see all year long. I mean, they're not going to show anything to LSU because you run a lot of stuff off of that stuff to the outside. I don't want to get into all the stuff they do, but they run things off of those plays where they move their quarterback and you're just not going to show anything the secondary plays off of that, the third play off of that, because you're going to want to set that up for down the line. So I don't know. I think they'll want to execute their base offense for a few series. If that works out well, I would think they'll score. Now, you're right. I mean, it's football. Tipped pass gets picked off, and it's a wasted series. All of a sudden you ran 2 plays, and a ball just got popped up in the air. That could prolong it, but not much, because the question is not whether or not you're going to win the game. It's just by how much. So, again, I need every one of these guys, all hands on deck versus LSU. That is a more talented roster than Florida State. You're going to need all your starters to be ready to go.
Duquesne. I was going to agree with you on that.
I'm glad we found a middle ground. You're going to need all your starters against LSU because that's going to be a war.
I think, you can talk yourself into circles in this, but on the one hand, you'd say for a game like this, if you want to end it as quickly as possible, you probably want to run it down their throats.
I would step on their necks by being brutal physically and run it right up. Yeah.
Which I think is fair, but I could also see a scenario where you want to get the passing game off because of what that could do for you against LSU.
Yeah, the rhythm
I think if Johnny Wilson goes out there and catches 8 passes for 100 and something yards, if Micah Pittman catches 7 for 110, I mean, now that I think that would dictate some things to LSU defensively about changing some preconceived notions they had based on Florida State in 2021 versus 2022. Even against who they're going against, just seeing that, I think they're going to have to at least consider being a little bit more straight up. And I think that's better for you going into that game than if they're challenging you, and you might be able to beat them. You might be able to beat them with the pass if they try to challenge you to do it, but you then have to do it. Whereas if you can back them off, now you can get that running game going. So
my argument would be you wouldn't need to show it a lot. They just have to show it a few times. So what I'm saying is that they see, Mike is different than anybody they had last year. Johnny Wilson's different than anybody they had last year. Well, then the point's been made. They don't need 6 catches as opposed to 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just, that point can be made in a few series. And then I would get those guys out of there. I'm not risking. If we're up 42-0 in the third quarter and they roll Johnny Wilson back out there for a
that would be crazy.
Right. Don't do it. You can't
unless
do it.
he has 0 catches for somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
we
got a problem either way. Because if he's got 0 catches at that point, well then.
I was talking to Ira today. Oh, go ahead, Ira.
How long would it have to go on before you just made your way down to the front row and started screaming at Norvell? Like if it's like
close,
if it was like 60-0 and he's still out there, like at what point would you just lose your mind?
I don't even like to think about this. I can't. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that.
Wouldn't that be a great problem?
Crazy
to have
hypothetical.
How does Norvell handle a 60-point lead?
Yeah. And he may get the opportunity.
That would be something.
I can't imagine that stadium would lose their minds if the starters rolled out there in the middle of the third quarter of a 60-0 game.
Trying to get to 100.
Like Mike, what are you doing?
Houston did back in the day against SMU. I was going to say, though, I was talking to Ira about this. Like, look, man, Johnny Wilson again today at practice, he was the best player on the field. Again, he makes a couple of ridiculous
That's exciting. I mean, that really is, all jokes aside, that is a huge development this fall. Is that he found the consistency he didn't have in the spring.
But he's making all the catches, but he's going out and making special catches too. So I'm with Ira now. I'm not even qualifying anymore. I think he's the best player on the offense. He has been the last 3 weeks, in my opinion. But he makes plays. But I wonder what LSU is going to do. Getting back to LSU real quick, we'll focus back on Duquesne.
I thought you were worried about the Duquesne game.
So say he goes out and has 5 for 100, or even if he doesn't, he has 2 for 80. What is LSU going to do to him?
2 for 80.
Well, a 65-yarder and a 15-yarder.
Duquesne, man.
That's Duquesne.
Everybody knows Duquesne's going to play bump and run.
That's it.
And if you hit it,
yeah.
if you hit it, it's going to be a big play.
So
he's out the gate.
Will LSU, because he's this California kid, he's never been in an environment like this. He's never really done much in college. You did a great job against Duquesne. Awesome. Are they going to get in his face and play bump and run and try to bully him all over the field? But he's not a body type you can really do that with. So I wonder how you defend Johnny Wilson if you're LSU.
I don't know how great they feel about their corners. They have a lot of transfers that came in with experience.
And I'm being stereotypical, but
yes, I would jam
California kid
I would jam
has
him.
never really done much.
They're going to jam him, Corey. That's the answer.
But he is a tough kid to jam.
That's fine. You can argue it. That's what they're going to do.
Yeah. So
I'm not talking about Duquesne. I'm saying LSU.
But that was my point.
Well, what Duquesne does.
Duquesne's got a plan for my man. But I think that's the one final thing we have to see from Johnny Wilson, in my opinion.
Correct.
Is
and it's
how
a big
does he handle very aggressive, in your face, talking the whole game?
By the way,
really good athletes.
That's true of all big receivers. The opposing defenses are going to jam him to see if they can slow his release.
And we brought up Kelvin Benjamin in the 13 Florida game. How the first quarter and a half looked like he didn't want to be there. He kind of shied away from the moment, and then he became their dad. He literally just adopted the whole cornerbacks.
That's funny, Preston. By the way, yeah, he's being great. He's being great. I listen, and we got to go to break, but I think that is no doubt the better defenses that play FSU are going to go. They're going to do what they did last year. To
and
FSU.
that is a tough dude to do it to.
Good.
If he's
good.
In it.
I hope the answer is Johnny Wilson. I would love to have that celebration with you. I don't know yet.
I got distracted by Preston's question KB
who's running? Who's talking? Simpson or Clark?
KB in that Florida game, though. My goodness, I mean, he's just throwing dudes like
off
they're
of
7-year-olds.
He just finally got mad about it.
Well, once he realized the refs were going to let it go, and he
yeah.
was like, "Okay, I'll throw you into the third row," and he did. I mean,
we should. That's what we should watch. We should go back and just watch that.
I did.
Hilarious. I watched it a couple days
Gainesville
ago. For that game.
Days ago.
Did you watch it?
I watched the review, the highlights of that game, just to get myself ready for football season 2022 Florida State
guys
football.
have put enormous amounts of pressure on poor Johnny Wilson.
Don't care.
I mean, my God,
he's too good.
Every day,
I don't care.
These two
He's
guys.
immune.
I'm like Johnny. I think you can be good. I'm not telling these people that you're freaking Kelvin Benjamin. I mean,
he's immune. He's immune to the pressure.
Hopefully, he's not listening. Hopefully, he's
I think
just
that's a safe bet.
That is probably a safe bet. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Many people from all over the state will be making their way to polling locations today for the primary election. Those ballots will then end up at the Leon County Supervisor of Elections office. Leon County is already seeing thousands of votes. However, at only 15% early voter turnout so far. That number is a little lower than what they've seen in the past. If you have a vote by mail ballot, it's too late to send through the mail. Be sure to drop the ballot off at an actual polling location before 7 p.m. A man has his car stolen at gunpoint in the parking lot of a Tallahassee Goodwill. Tallahassee police say it happened just before 8 p.m. Monday outside the location on West Pensacola Street. A man was in the parking lot when another man holding a gun approached him, took the vehicle, and then drove off. No injuries were reported, but TPD is still searching for the suspect, identified as a black man between the ages of 29 to 39 in the car, which is a 2016 silver Honda Civic with a Georgia plate. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 90 this afternoon under cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms likely. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 73. Cloudy skies expected. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 86. Overcast skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 87.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Hi, this is Dustin Rivers. Today, I humbly ask for your vote as I look to be your next county commissioner for District 5. I'm a lifelong resident of District 5 and look forward to serving you, your family, and our entire community. It's time to elect people who solve problems on a daily basis, and I will bring that unique perspective to our local leadership with my private sector experience. Please, take 5 minutes today and get out and vote. Dustin Rivers, District 5. Paid for and approved by Dustin Rivers for County Commission, District 5.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
What's a score that would have you, either one of you, kind of very concerned?
Anything within 17.
Oh, yeah.
Points.
Sure.
So the offense scoring less than 40.
35-20. 34-20.
Oh, God, 35-20. You just sent chills down my spine, sir. My God.
I mean,
what are we doing here? I may not go to New Orleans if it's 35-20.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you would. You just would go with
go to the sports book and have a good time. Yeah, that's a toughie. No, I really, I think I've made it abundantly clear my feelings on this game. Scores are weird sometimes. You can watch a game played and you look at the score and that's not really reflective of how this game was played. But when matchups like this, I don't think there's much to worry about.
But what I do think, for fans that are going to go to the stadium or watch it on TV, I think there's a lot to look at for fans.
Or the watch along we're doing on
or during the watch along.
It's very important to point that out. Yeah. There is it's $1, everybody. It's $1 to there. It is right there on your screen if you're watching on Warchant TV. Warchant.com on 3, $1 for 1 year. Calling all FSU fans. Sign up now before they yank that $1 offer.
$1 for the year, and we got to pat ourselves on the back. We are now the number one network on 3, and it took us like 3 weeks.
Didn't take much time. They saw Cameron. They then turned and saw Ira, Corey. They were like, well, this is over before I keep going. And then they have the plethora of all the other talent.
Yeah.
But this alone was going to get us there,
It's a juggernaut.
guys.
This is an absolute juggernaut.
So, by the way, that is cool. Congratulations to us. But I
thank you. Thank you. You should say thank you as well.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We are awesome.
And we have the watch along on Saturday with Dominic Robinson.
So hold on, I'm gonna get it all.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry, my bad,
buddy. Yeah. There's just so much content. I mean, geez.
It is a lot.
So right now you're listening to Seminole Headlines, which will go on throughout the course of the year. Of course, that's all year long. The Jeff Cameron Show every afternoon. Wake Up War Chant. Then you've got the content on the website, warchant.com, with all the articles you guys write and everybody else produces and does as well. And then, of course, we have Sunday Smash, which kicks ass. Yep. And then you mentioned the watch along. We had a pregame show, in-game show, post-game show.
And you're and I's happy hour pregame show
Friday
the night before.
5:30.
And In the Coop with Robert Cooper.
On Monday.
I watched it last night.
I mean, and plus Aslan and I do a live show in the middle of the week in the evenings. Literally, it's every day on Warchant TV.
But it's almost too much.
The cool thing about the watch along, though, real quick, is it is going to be Dominic Robinson's going to be on it with our staff, interacting, talking through the game, which is going to be cool because he was texting me this morning about how the guy, like he said, he lays in bed. Have you guys watch that Queen's Gambit?
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. He said that he's got that problem.
Thinking about the chess moves?
Yes, he does with football. He said he lays in bed and just sees football, like and just nonstop. And so he's
like
really
Jeff Bowden.
Very much. I'm sure.
Well done.
Maybe he'll share.
That was really good. That was really good.
This is just like how JB used to call it.
So, am I allowed to ask him? Because I'm going to interview Dominic this week. I think that's going to happen, and I'm looking forward to it. Am I allowed to ask him about his time with Jeff?
Oh, I'm sure you can.
Man.
What he says, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that. But what I was going to say, though,
that's how his mind works.
For people,
the football mind.
Yes, he does. And when you're, that's what I told him. I told him, I was like, man, I'm glad I don't have that problem. I'm simple.
Yeah.
Just tell me what I got to do today.
I got other things I do in life.
That's all I'm worried about. But no, but I was going to say, for people that are watching, we get to see them every day. Thanks, Mike Norvell, for the access. So we know what this team looks like. We know what these players look like. It's going to be cool for a lot of fans to see Johnny Wilson, Tatum Bethune. Tatum Bethune did not play in the spring game. We've been talking that guy for 8 months now, and this will be the first chance people really get to see Tatum Bethune.
Jared Verse.
Azaria Thomas, Jared Verse, Sam McCall. I mean, there's Micah Pittman. There's a lot of guys on this team that are really going to be getting their first. People are going to be getting their first taste of them. So even against Duquesne, I think that's cool because there's a lot to look forward to. It's like back in the day when you guys would watch Florida State to watch the backups.
Man,
because
we did a lot of that, and it was always one 5-star being replaced by the next grade 5-star who was just younger.
There's something to look forward to, even in a blowout. And I think this game's going to be, even if it is a blowout, Corey, if it happens,
we'll see.
There's a lot of young guys, a lot of freshmen on this team that I think you'll get to see play as well. So I think it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, I'm actually really excited, about the young offensive linemen that will get a chance to play. And I've been talking about this a lot. I think the future is very bright for Florida State. Of course, the question that we all have is how quickly do we arrive at that future where the successes are, obviously the weight towards the successes are greater than what we've seen over the last 5 years. I would like to think that a big part of that is going to be this group that are the backups of this offensive line. They got a talented true freshman. They've got a redshirt freshman that I like a lot. I think it's going to go on to be a very good player. They have another freshman that I think if he gets into a good shape, and he's pretty close already, is on the verge of being a really good player. They have 3 or 4 offensive linemen that they may not have to play at all in any meaningful snaps this year that will get a chance to play in this game because you can play these guys 4 games.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see them because they're all uniquely gifted compared to the crop that they were bringing in the last few years. So this is the first group where I've gone, he can play. He's got, that's the right frame, his body type. He's got good feet. All that stuff is there.
Julian Armella today, I was watching them a little bit when we went inside the IPF towards the end of practice, and Corey's watching the pass catchers, which he does. I was watching. Tom wasn't there right then, so I had to watch the trenches. And Julian Armella had a couple really good reps against older dudes.
Yeah, he has. Well, that's why those older dudes talk about him because they'll whip his ass sometimes and put him on his. But he also will have reps where he wins against a junior or a senior, and you'll watch those guys. They show respect to him. That's very rare for a true freshman to walk in who wasn't even here in the spring, to walk in and have those reps. I watched him have a great rep against Fabian Lovett. Who does that unless they have a skill set and a body type and a strength to them at a young age? It's very rare. Now, he turned around and got whooped by him the next rep. Lovett was pissed. But when that happens, you're like, okay, there's something there. And he's got a work ethic to him, too. You always, we've heard him talk. Julian cares a lot about football. He cares a lot about being great at football. So he's going to put in the requisite work. And he's not the only guy. A lot of those freshmen and redshirt freshmen, I like it.
Yeah, not just at the line of scrimmage. I asked Norvell about that today because A.Z. Thomas and Johnny Wilson had 4 reps in a row on 1-on-1s where it went 2 and 2.
Yeah.
Like Johnny snatched a couple over him, and then AZ came back and ripped the ball away a couple times and almost intercepted one. And how invaluable, I even say. That's more than valuable.
Yeah.
It's
so valuable you can't even describe it.
You put an in front of it. English language is a little weird.
You can't quantify it.
Yeah, but you can't.
Not the exact value.
Right.
Yeah.
It's indescribable how invaluable those reps are.
Right. Not undescribable.
No,
indescribable.
Yeah.
So that, what that means to both those guys. Like A.Z. Thomas might be one of the most talented corners Johnny Wilson plays if we're talking about like in November, sheer talent and body type. And same thing on the other side. Like he's not going to face many 6'7" receivers, and they really are making each other better. Like they really are.
That's what's supposed to happen in practice.
Exactly. But it hasn't gotten to happen much around here lately.
Yeah.
Until this camp. And I think, and we've seen it a lot of different situations. This one I thought was pretty magnified because Johnny kind of mossed him on one.
He's 6'7".
He should, and he's older. And Azaria Thomas is a freshman. But you kind of wonder, like, okay, how does that impact an Azaria Thomas?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been through 3 or 4 weeks of camp.
Hope it just pissed him off. Yeah.
And he came back, man, and he got physical, and he won.
I don't think
like the quarterback had no chance because he was all over Johnny Wilson.
I don't think they'll keep him off the field. I really don't.
Nope.
I think Azaria is going to make some mistakes, but as all freshmen do. He's just so talented. He's a lot more talented than the guy starting in front of him. And so, how soon can he know what he's doing and be trustworthy? Because I don't care how talented you are if they don't trust you. But
do you see similarities between Azareye'h Thomas on that side of the ball and Deuce Spann on the other side of the ball? Like how long?
I think Azareye'h is further along in his skill set than Deuce is at his.
But the skill sets the potential that's there,
the upside for Deuce Spann's
is like how long do you keep him off the field, because he's more talented than the people that might be in front of him.
And he's starting. It's becoming more and more consistent. I feel like during camp, Deuce Spann started off hot. Then kind of had a little bit of a stretch where he was kind of adjusting.
Azareyeh Thomas is the same way to some extent.
Right. Yep. But I thought Spann today, and I think at the end of last week, it was like, okay, it's coming back again.
He's probably the X factor, right? Everybody's always searching for that X factor. We could ask about it, like the Deuce Spann.
The fact that they put him as as a starter, that surprised me.
There's two things to that in my mind. One, it's that they need him to be that guy. Because he's the only one with like an NFL skill set at wide receiver. They don't have. I mean, Johnny. Well, Johnny's a big bodied guy that might get there on that alone. I'm talking about the speed to go with the size. Nobody touches Deuce in that regard. But he's raw, and he's come along so fast.
It's
from
getting
spring
refined
to
quickly.
It is. And so they're hoping like hell, obviously, that this happens sooner rather than later.
Did you ask him about Deuce, or did our man at the Democrat ask him about Deuce?
I think it was Carter.
Carter, yeah. He asked him, like, how much do you envision Deuce Spann being a part of the offense this year? And he's like, we hope a great deal. Yeah. Like
because it changes who they are.
Yeah, man. And it
changes what they can do and how teams can play you.
If he can grow up exponentially and be a different player by the middle of October than he is now, man, you were talking about, like you said, he is an NFL talent.
Yeah, he is.
He might not make the NFL. He might not catch 12 passes at Florida State. Well, he has the ability to be an NFL, just the body to be an NFL
and
receiver.
Look, man, like we could sit here and this fan base has analyzed everything about Jordan Travis as a passer for the last 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that's fair. I get it. But man, think of the dudes that are going to be trotting out there this fall compared to what it's been the last 2 years. I mean, these are guys with catch radiuses that are tall, can jump, can run.
Yeah, Malik McLean's in that mix too now.
Yes.
Yeah.
That makes quarterbacking is a lot more fun when you're throwing to those dudes as opposed to throwing 9 routes to 5-10 guys.
And I didn't quite drop it in that tiny little bucket.
So what I kept saying about the receivers was I didn't need you to be good. I just needed you to get to be middle of the pack of the ACC. They were sorry last year. They have the worst receiving core in the league. And this is
the worst these eyes have seen.
Well, that's a league that has Georgia Tech. Mm-hmm. It's a league that's got Syracuse. It's a league that has Duke.
Wake.
Well,
I know Wake's good now,
got some talent,
but it's still Wake Forest. Like, why would they should never have better receivers than you.
You're right. What ought to be and what is are two different things with Wake, but they actually have talent.
Yes.
But Duke doesn't, and Georgia Tech doesn't, and you know what I'm saying? It's frustrating to watch Boston College roll out there with a better receiving core than Florida State, and they had a better receiving core than Florida State. So what I thought coming into camp was, can you get to be the 7th best ACC core of receivers, 8th? Because if so,
there,
it changes everything about your offense.
I think
they're there.
I think they're going to be top half.
You think that? Which is like sixth or 7th. Yeah, we don't think this is the best receiving core in the country.
Clemson's better. NC State's better at receiver. I think North Carolina's probably better, but they may not be a better team. But North Carolina's better at receiver.
But Florida State's not so. The gap.
Yeah, they're not. No, we're not talking about them
anymore.
Being down there at 11th or 12th.
And like the thing with Deuce, man, you got to give him and this coaching staff a lot of credit, because when we saw him in the spring, none of us thought it was going to happen this fall.
No, I was sad. I was kind of sad, actually. I was thinking, he's a 2-year project.
Right. And that's best case scenario. I'm watching him catch passes now, man. All different kinds of catches. He's catching it with soft hands, with his hands, not letting it get to his body. I mean, he looks like a wide receiver now.
Well, that's the difference. If Florida State has 2 of those guys emerge, because one of those was guaranteed to happen, and it was going to be Winston Wright. And that is so bitterly disappointing for the young man and for the team and for all of us who wanted to see this team take a big step forward. Without being crass, I care more about him being physically okay. And he is. It's just going to take time. We'll see when he comes back. But that said, Winston Wright was going to be the guy because you already had the evidence. 60-plus catches. I mean, West Virginia, you saw it in Power 5 level. So when he went down with the car accident injury, you thought, man, Mike Norvell cannot catch a break. I mean, that guy was guaranteed. These others maybe, but that guy was guaranteed. So then right off the bat, you lost the one thing you had in the transfer portal that was a given. That guy was going to start day one. And so then that didn't happen. And I thought, well, Malik McLean's got to take a step forward. Pokey's got to take a step forward. And one of these guys, the combination of Johnny Wilson, who we knew was a good blocker with a big body, Micah Pittman, who's a tough kid, who really didn't do much at Oregon, but he's a tough kid, had a good spring. And then the other being Deuce Spann. We were saying, which of these three guys can emerge? Maybe all three, then you'd really be happy. But
that's where I think you are.
But one of those guys needed to emerge with consistency.
Yeah, at the end of the spring, you're thinking, okay, it's going to be Micah Pittman. But again, there's some limitations to what Micah Pittman can do.
He's a small guy,
same body type. And then you got to wonder about the durability at that body type. He's going to be going across the middle.
He's got to make a lot of tough catches in the middle of the field, but I think he's kind of a red ass in that way. He likes to do it.
100%. And so, there's no doubt he's not going to back down.
Right. Right.
But what's amazing though is you look at that depth chart, and there's a possibility based on the oars, how it all plays out, that all three wide receiver spots could be those transfers. And Winston Wright won't be one of them because he's still not back yet.
Right.
And he was the one sure thing.
He was the one sure thing. Yeah. I knock on wood that he's able to play this year and help them, because they had some big games against really good defensive units like NC State and Clemson. I think by the end of the year, Florida will be pretty good on defense. You're going to need that guy to come back. We'll see. I don't know how quickly he can. Knock on wood.
But I talked to Corey about writing something about the transfer. Their hit rate on the transfers is pretty impressive. We talked to Norvell about that today. They did a good job, man. I think of the 13 guys they brought in, almost all of them are on the 2 deep, and several of them are going to start.
Right now, if I'm assessing this coaching staff, they're better at getting transfer portal picks right than they are in terms of overall recruiting out of high school.
I think the freshmen are pretty good too.
No, this year, but we're talking they have
well
been they're 40th or whatever they are in the country in recruiting right now. They're not good when it comes to these kids out of high school.
Get it right, Jeff. I think they're 19th on the on
Close
three. They're on 3 on the
He
rankings.
goes with the femoral recruiting rankings.
Of course he does.
He's using their advanced.
He was using the LSU guys' recruiting rankings.
Well, when we talk about the kids that they're hitting on or not hitting on in the state of Florida, they're
true.
It's not close.
But the evaluation of what they're doing in the portal, and the point that I think Ira's making is like the Rodney Hills of the world. And I mean, a lot of people could see A.Z. Thomas, but
Sam McCall and A.Z. Thomas, it's a hit. That's good that they got.
But Brian Courtney was a very good evaluation. Yeah. I mean, Josh Farmer, obviously. I mean, he was somewhat local.
Shaheem Brown, maybe.
I
mean,
that kid had no offers.
These guys got to produce, but they look good. But they've hit more home runs in the transfer portal for sure.
Their ability to assess talent is not what I'm questioning. They do a very good job in the transfer portal, though. Those guys are hits. A lot of those guys are in the portal for a reason. So a lot of times you're kind of like, I don't know why.
But that's what I'm saying. They've done it.
Trey Benson's going to have a good year. I believe that. I think Micah Pittman is obviously a huge upgrade for what they didn't have. Winston Wright would have been. It's not, it's a shame that he got hurt. We'll see what Johnny Wilson does. I think he's an upgrade for sure. Certainly they don't have anybody like him.
I was watching Bless Harris today. We thought he was going to be a project. He's a solid offensive tackle, man. I watched him go up against McClendon. Couple other guys today. Bless Harris can play. That's another
he's starting for you. So,
but you went and got him from Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Real quick,
Emmanuel, who you brought over from Charlotte.
They're not below average at any position anymore.
Right,
tight end. But they are absolutely
good. Maybe that.
I'm not with you.
But the other one, the offensive line, wide receiver, and linebackers, they were below average last year, or close to it. They are at least average and probably a little bit above average, maybe at all three. Than they were, certainly compared to where they were last year, but just in the relative scheme of the ACC. Yeah. I think they've gotten better at every position that matters besides, tight end.
Seminole Headlines, hour number 2, headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Hi, this is Dustin Roost. Today, I humbly ask for your vote as I look to be your next county commissioner for District 5. I'm a lifelong resident of District 5 and look forward to serving you, your family, and our entire community. It's time to elect people who solve problems on a daily basis, and I will bring that unique perspective to our local leadership with my private sector experience. Please take 5 minutes today and get out and vote. Dustin Rivas, District 5. Paid for and approved by Dustin Rivas for County Commission, District 5.
Hi, this is Dr. Marianne Arbalou, candidate for the Leon County School Board District 1. Did you know that our schools are experiencing academic and financial declines? Evidence that we need a leadership change. With my credentials, skills, and diverse work experience, I will strive to improve the use of your tax dollars. We've had enough tax increases. I will work to increase experiential learning opportunities. We know that students learn better by doing. And we should create more entrepreneurial programs where students learn about business and don't simply get jobs, but become job creators. I will be transparent and accountable. Your voice matters, and I want to rebuild trust. And I'll advocate for better salary and career initiatives for all staff, focusing on more support for our teachers. My name is Marianne Arbalou, and I'm asking for your vote on August 23rd for Leon County School Board District 1. Thank you.
Paid for and approved by Marianne Arbalou for Leon County School Board District 1.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3.
Pull back a little, and I begin the assessment by saying they're better. They're better than they were a year ago. It's a better football team and program than they've been. They're getting closer to where they want to be. That is true. I think that is true. I don't know specifically how that translates to, the kind of season that in our heart of hearts we'd want them to have, which would be a 10-plus win season. You'd want to see that. That's not likely because they're not there yet, but they're better.
This is interesting. So I've had this moment happen a couple of times in practices, whether it's the team drills at the end or wherever, but it's usually when they go full 11 on 11 and they play. There's a sequence of so many positive plays, one way or the other, where somebody earns a stop or earns a gain of 15, or a quarterback rolls out, he's flushed, but he goes and makes a play. Receiver actually catches the football in traffic, things like that, where I start to get greedy. And I'm thinking to myself for the next rep that I'm watching, all right, here you go. Keep elevating.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, that's not reasonable to think. Because if they kept elevating, then they'd be projecting at 10 wins, and you'd say, well, look at this. They got something for the whole college football world doesn't know what's about to hit them.
Yeah, you're ignoring the ceiling at that point with your enthusiasm. Right. Yeah.
But then that also comes at the expense. Like, why am I disappointed that they're better, markedly better? Like, I shouldn't be. It's just the Noel in me remembering how many times we've been ranked inside the top 4 consecutive years at the end of the year in the AP poll or coaches poll, all those things. Like all of the accolades.
The record-setting 14
years
in a row that nobody's come close to.
Right. So that's where my head goes immediately. Is, oh, wait a minute. They could be. Oh, that's not fair. I need to stop myself. But there are flashes when they do things so well in practices that you dare to dream, but that's not realistic. You need to set your sights a little bit lower, but I don't think lower than 7 or 8 wins. I see this team landing in that spot as long as injury luck stays okay and turnover luck isn't absurd.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue. I think that I see enough humbling moments from either the quarterback or the offensive line that I'm well aware of the ceiling. I'm not getting as caught up. I go, okay, all right. But that doesn't mean that I think they're not improved and that they can't be a better team and that the program's not in good hands and isn't moving forward. None of that.
In Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Hi, this is Dustin Rivas. Today, I humbly ask for your vote as I look to be your next county commissioner for District 5. I'm a lifelong resident of District 5 and look forward to serving you, your family, and our entire community. It's time to elect people who solve problems on a daily basis, and I will bring that unique perspective to our local leadership with my private sector experience. Please take 5 minutes today and get out and vote. Dustin Rivas, District 5. Paid for and approved by Dustin Rivas for County Commission, District 5.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way in just a moment. Thanks for joining us. Game week, good to be here, and the conversation is lively. Soon your questions, Facebook right here, Twitter right there. Got them all, boys. And we thank our friend Dr. Birch Orthodontics, best in the business. We espouse that to be true every week on the show, and nothing changes this week, especially not on game week. My goodness, she's got to be frothing at the mouth thinking about this football game Saturday. She is always a little bit maniacal when it comes to FSU football.
But probably tempered a little bit. She's probably a little bit more like Corey going into a game like this.
You think she's nervous about the Duquesne matchup?
She's not the most bullish about the Noles
no, she's a realist. I like that about her. I mean, she's
been burned a lot the last few
she's been
years,
hurt.
too.
A lot of people have been hurt.
Well,
when a wall has been built up.
When your whole life is excellence, the way Dr. Birch's is.
And then you don't see excellence on the things that you're invested in emotionally and financially. You think, well, what is going on here, guys? I can't trust you.
I've got the best orthodontic practice in the world.
Week in, week out, year round.
You guys can't win 6 games.
Can't get it together against Jacksonville State.
Bowl game.
How can I trust you? Like Corey said against Duquesne.
Maybe they should have Dr. Birch go give a speech to the team during camp.
Yeah, well, you
guys
quit
Ryan
sucking.
Leaf come in.
Will you guys quit sucking? Is that possible for you guys to give us some happiness?
Yeah.
That could be her message.
Or a pregame talk or a halftime talk.
Yeah, I'd rather hear from Dr. Birch than Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she would. I mean, man, she'd have us
She's
fired up.
She's much better at her chosen career than he was.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he got sidelined a little bit there with some choices.
Still a good message. Still a good message.
Yeah.
I like the fact that in our country you can make mistakes and then get paid to go talk about your mistakes. It's awesome.
You can make repeated mistakes.
Hey.
You can.
but you know who doesn't make mistakes?
Dr. Birch.
BirchOrthodontics.com.
That's right. You don't have to worry
website.
about a third or fourth or fifth opportunity.
If you want a free consultation, great customer service, they do the best work. Invisalign, all the current techniques. She is well versed in all of them, like Jared Verse. And
look at this.
BirchOrthodontics.com is the website, and you can get your consultation, and they will take care of you.
I'm also for second, third, fourth, and fifth chances. I don't mean it that way. I'm just saying it's amazing. Brandon writes, now that the depth chart has been released, are you allowed to go a little more in depth about the offensive line starters? What have you seen from them in camp, and how do you think that unit will do? Yeah, I think we are. We know the starting 5. I've been very impressed by way of comparison to the starters a year ago and the year before and the year before. I am careful to say to people, that doesn't mean they're good. It means they're not terrible and they have real depth for the first time in forever.
They're better, man.
They're
better.
Well, that is a given. I'm acknowledging that. It's just that they're not, I think they're a middle of the road offensive line in the league. But that is so much better than they've been. What that enables you to do, I mean, they have been downright awful for years.
Last year got awful. I thought, except when guys got injured.
Yeah, but they did, and they had no depth.
Right, and here's where I think the right side of the line is going to be appreciably better than what it was last year or in several years. I mean, I think Bless Harris is a solid offensive tackle. I think Dimitri Emmanuel is a solid guard.
I like Emmanuel a lot. I'm interested in Bless. I think Bless is an upgrade right now at the right side. I'm curious to see how he plays. I'm holding my breath.
I'm more bullish by what I've seen lately, but
and Turnentine's a guy that you have to
bring him in.
Where does he fit in? He's going to play. Where does he fit in? He's got. I think he can.
Again, he's part of that depth.
A couple of different positions.
I think he's more of a tackle, but he, to me, yes. If you have to go to him for any reason, you don't fall off a cliff. Last year, if you pulled one of those starters, you were in deep trouble.
And he also, I think, man, it seemed like conditioning was a little bit rough for him. He wasn't here in the spring. He got here in the summer. I think it took him a little while to get into kind of game shape. But I think he's been coming on the last week or so. So I think he's a vital piece of it. And then you have, again, the strength of the line last year was Gibbons and Scott on the left side. And I think the right side is elevated now. closer to where you want to be.
Really
it's going to be a solid offensive line.
Really important for Darius Washington to hit the ground running. He's starting at center.
And not hit the ground with his snap.
Well, we know that's right. We know Maurice Smith is out for now. We don't know when he'll be back. Knock on wood that he gets back. You want as much depth as possible, even if Darius ended up being the starter. So you need guys with experience like that. And Maurice did get bigger. I do want to say he is bigger now than he was a year ago. He's way too small last year. He dealt with a back injury. By season's end, he was getting pushed all over the field. I don't think that'd be the case now. I root for that kid because I don't want to see anybody have their career set back by injury. So they need as much as they can get there. But Darius has got to play well against LSU in week 2, or else it's going to be a long day at the office because they have a pro nose tackle.
Yeah, but you mentioned earlier you didn't name all those young offensive linemen, but Bryson Estes.
Well, that's one of my favorite guys.
He's a guy now.
He's nasty.
So when Alex Atkins was talking yesterday about trying to find the 5 best offensive linemen, regardless of position.
Yeah.
He's a guy that's worked on his snaps. I mean, they've got some
Schrader
options there.
Here's the thing about Schrader, by the way. If he has to play, they won't be terrible.
Right.
But he really, it's a shame he got hurt because talent-wise, he's very talented. He does all the things right technique-wise. He just didn't get the opportunity because he was rehabbing the injury to put on the added size that would have made him a pretty dominant player. I think he's going to be good.
He's not hurt now, but the injury he suffered, he missed a lot of time where he could have gotten bigger and better.
Yeah, that's a shame. But they are better. And that's an area where you talk about the transfer portal analysis and where they find guys. They did a great, think about Emmanuel. Think, like you said, Bless Harris, guys like that. Turnington's a nice backup. If he has to start, it's not the end of the world. You have to go along with the young guys. Steve writes, happy game week, gents. Happy game week, Steve. Which position group do you think we can learn the most from against a team lacking in talent like Duquesne?
Look, I'm about sick of this.
Steve's
I'm
about to hear
sick of
this.
I mean, they had a winning record last year, FSU fans. Can y'all say that? This is Duquesne, baby. This is Duquesne. They run Pittsburgh.
What is there a position, Corey? I mean, I'd say I keep going back to wide receiver just because even against air it would be a positive to see FSU's receivers making plays.
Again, you can't learn a lot, but they can feel better about themselves, which does matter. It does matter.
Yeah,
I know
about
it's
gaining
Duquesne,
confidence,
but you get to gain confidence as a game that counts. If you go out and make some big plays, that gives you confidence going into the next week. It's not going to help you beat LSU. Well, maybe it gives you a little a dose of confidence can help. So doing it on a stage, even if it's not as big as the one the following week, means it's like going from off Broadway to Broadway.
Right.
Ira, those
I love that analogy.
The reps you get on off Broadway matter. You go to Broadway, you got all that confidence in the world. Next thing you know, you're starring in a Jerry Bruckheimer movie.
So what I would tell you in terms of Duquesne, I don't know again physically that you're going to learn a lot here, but the reps don't hurt. And to use Corey's analogy, if you hit 2 home runs off a guy with an ERA over 10, it may be that guy can't play, but you feel good the next time you step in the box.
I don't think you heard my analogy. My analogy was a Broadway stage.
I feel like my analogy is a little bit more apt than your analogy.
And how far off Broadway is Duquesne?
It's in Pittsburgh.
Can't find it.
Can't
find it. By the way, guys, let's take a close look here at Duquesne from a year ago. There was a running clock against TCU. That final was 45-3.
That's not bad.
They hung in there. They did lose to Sacred Heart. They did.
Right. Hey, let's talk about the 7 wins, buddy.
Yeah. Okay.
Jacksonville State lost to UAB 31-0 and lost to Texas. What was the one I said? UT Houston. Sam Houston State 42-7.
You go back a ways, and we're checking out this Duquesne dominance. The coach has been there forever, coaching it up the right way, as Corey will point out. Duquesne lost.
What's the most admirable about him is think of all the schools that have been come calling.
Yeah, Penn State wanted him, and then he said no, and they went and got Franklin.
Ohio State, when Tressel left,
yeah,
that was their first choice.
That's true. Way back in the tattoo gate. He'd only been at Duquesne for a year.
Corey, I do want to give you credit for this. You talked about what you think might happen if Duquesne were to go against UMass. A few years ago, they did play UMass, and they lost 63-15.
What year? What year was that?
3 years ago.
That was before Walt Bell.
I mean, it was. That doesn't say that doesn't mean anything.
That UMass team didn't go on to win a lot of games, my friend, even 3 years
saying,
ago.
That was
but
COVID.
They had their way with Duquesne
that
day.
Was COVID, man. Duquesne couldn't. Duquesne got hit by COVID.
I just wanted to look it up. Saul writes, "Hey fellas, let's go." Given the first game could be a possible blowout. Yeah. If the youngins get a lot of reps, is there a possibility they may break the rock? If so, who would you predict? Oh, well, I mean, I don't really care who breaks the rock at this point after the Duquesne game, but
I think they do the breaking the rock on before games. It's based on like what you did to prepare for that. I think.
No.
Oh, they do them after the
They
game
do
too.
it in the locker room.
They do
Yeah.
both.
Yeah,
They do both.
yeah.
You're right.
Come on,
if
man.
a
I know
young
it's not a
player-
tradition
You
we've
know-
gotten to experience a lot of
yeah.
in the last 2 years.
you
But
know
I've
who's-
only done it 8 times.
I'll tell you who's going to break the rock against Duquesne. Jared Verse.
Okay. You
Because they
think so?
can't block that dude. They're not going to
You
block
think he's
him.
going to have like
He's
a
6 sacks, man. They're not going to be able to block
was it
that kid.
was it Cane Doe versus Delaware State where he had 4.5
Where he went
sacks?
nuts,
Yeah.
yeah.
Could have something like that.
If they do win convincingly, maybe they should have Corey come down and break the rock.
There you go.
Well, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
because you'd be so over the moon about the big win over Duquesne.
Well,
it
right.
would exceed your expectations.
And I'd be crestfallen for my man at Duquesne, the coach that's been there
Schmitty.
for 18 years, old Schmidt dog.
Corey will go to their press conference.
Schmitty, now you were
Coach,
overmatched.
what happened?
You were overmatched this week. We all know that. But I thought really the team hung in there.
Yeah.
Showed a lot of heart. What do you got against next week against Sacred Heart? Your thoughts?
How do you carry this?
How do you carry
How do you
this?
flush this? Get ready for Sacred Heart.
Mike writes, great job getting us through one hell of a roller coaster off season. Any surprises from the depth chart or exactly what you expected? I would say this was, for the most part, Ira, you and I talked about this on the show Monday. I thought the depth chart was what was to be expected.
Yeah, for the most part. I thought it was impressive that Dewspan is an or. That, I mean, again, that's just something, even though we've been there and we've seen him coming on, to see that in print, to see his name in bold as a possible starter, was impressive just to see it. And I thought Justin Turnitin being a possible or starter as well was a little surprising. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I think it's
And I
pretty
think
much what you thought.
the depth chart has Dennis Briggs as a firm starter, and then McClendon or Verse at the other side. I do think there will be times, I think, that maybe McClendon and Verse are on the field together.
They definitely will.
I think it's those 3 guys mainly, and you sprinkle in some Peyton for sure, and that's how the depth chart reads too. But I think Verse and McClendon, especially on maybe 3rd and 14, will be guys coming after the passer together.
Christopher writes, gentlemen.
Did you get that? Did everybody hear it?
I mean, look, guys.
You didn't cut that out.
He wasn't even looking at me. What am I supposed to bang on the glass?
Oh my goodness.
I guess hold on.
You could turn away. Oh, look at that.
Look at that. There you go. Look at that. A little bit better.
All right,
a little bit better.
Still
Yeah.
hear it though, man. These mics are sensitive.
Christopher writes, gentlemen, the backfield nickname you've been searching for has been in Jeff's bar for 11 months. Dos Artres.
Oh, the Dos Artes.
But he's going with Trays. Dos
No,
Artres.
no, Dos Artres?
I get it. I appreciate it. But
Yeah.
Treja Vu is still.
Treja Vu is really good.
That's the one, especially when they hit back-to-back big plays, both of them.
Please head
the
over.
Duquesne defense has experienced a little Treja Vu. That's perfect.
Please head over to Jeff's house after the season opener for a sip of the real deal, assuming he hasn't finished it off. Look forward to seeing you in the end of September and one day possibly meeting the elusive Ira.
One of these days.
Christopher comes and meets us at the bar for the game that they come to every year. They come to a game at least, and oftentimes is bringing gifts like the Dos Artes that I had in celebration. I got in trouble for the Dos Artes episode of Sunday Smash.
You were
I was a little
Oh,
loose.
is that what he was on? Was the Dos Artes?
I wasn't on anything but sheer joy. It was after a big win.
I don't know if has anybody ever been as impressed by some tequila as you were with the Dos Artes.
Oh, it was delicious.
I mean, you were.
It was unbelievable.
You were.
I couldn't stop drinking it, Corey.
Right.
It was
I
just
remember.
so good. It was just so good. And, I mean, I had a lot of...
Mine wasn't as smooth.
No, you went to the liquor store an hour before, not knowing anything about tequila, and just telling the girl, like, I'll take
it was a guy.
Well, whoever it was.
He gave me the good stuff.
Yes, he did. Marlon. Okay, gents, we finally made it to game week. Yay, sausage, writes Marlon. Last year, FSU had a 97.5% chance of winning against Jacksonville State. We have a 99.5% chance of winning against Duquesne.
Ooh, there you go.
Not saying there will be a letdown, but how does this team avoid a letdown against other teams they should beat, like Georgia Tech, like the Cuse, Louisiana, and Boston College? Well, by being a better football team.
Also, it would be insulting to this fan base and to themselves to overlook anyone. I mean, what has anybody on this team ever accomplished?
Yeah, that part
in
of it's
college
fair.
football?
To clarify what Corey's saying for people who might misread what you just said, show respect and prepare as if you're playing a real football game. Do not roll a kid out there that's never been a receiver in his life with one working foot onto the field as your other guy out there while you have Jordan Travis. I mean, I don't know what the hell that was. That was bizarre. I still can't figure out
what they were trying to give Wake something to think about.
What in the world?
But also, like, I'm specifically this team. Like, when you talk about a letdown, what have you ever accomplished to have a letdown from what? Yeah, it's not like you're riding sky high after a great season or a big win. Like, you aren't afforded the opportunity.
You're not Alabama
to have
overlooking Ole Miss.
Yeah, right. You're Florida State, who's won 8 games in 2 years. Man.
Needs to be maybe some sort of cumulative exorcism of Jacksonville State for this whole fan base.
Well, you just got to beat the teams that you're heavily favored.
Like in
beat
Ted
badly.
Lasso, when they burned everything in the can.
Are we over 2012 NC State?
2013, we win the national title, and a year later, the three of us are talking about the.
I was going to say, I don't know what you can do. It's always with us. It's
well,
always
that
with us.
one.
Yeah,
that one.
Even if Norvell wins a national championship or 2 in a row, we are always going to remember Jacksonville State.
It's a tough one to.
It's like the Alamo.
Hey guys, the more I hear about the strengths of this club, the more I wonder. While we're a long way from the 2013 team. Could the 2022 Noles resemble that 2013 Auburn team that we played, albeit not quite as much talent? The narrative on that Auburn team was that they could run the ball on anyone in so many different ways and had a good defense. The quarterback was scary with his legs and average with his arm. No, we don't have the same amount of talent. You do point that out, David, that Auburn team did.
They also had a ton of luck. They had a lot of things go their way.
They did. And with a little luck, this team could do something that we're probably not thinking is possible this year, such as win 10 games, maybe. I mean, I don't think they will. I wouldn't predict that at all. But if everything bounced right, if you beat LSU, Louisville, Miami on the road, I mean,
it would take. It would. I mean, that Auburn team had the interception deflect off the Georgia safety.
Oh, so that team had some NFL talent.
No, it did. But I'm saying, like, they literally snatched defeat out of the jaws of, or the other way around, snatched victory out of the jaws of defeat
several times.
2 times inexplicably almost, and then also won a bunch of other close games. Like, you would have to get incredibly lucky for this team to get to 10 wins, but it would take stuff like that.
It would take a bizarre.
And I think what happens is when you do have that, they started believing they were this team of destiny.
Yeah, no, it's listen.
And then they got to taste the KB.
They did.
Do not underestimate what Florida State will be to all of their opponents if they beat LSU. That if they win that game, because they've not experienced anything like a win of that magnitude. These kids,
there's your letdown.
I mean, like, oddly, that group, you would have to, like, okay, listen, that's great, but now you're about to play a conference game. God help us if they win both those games in what they'll think of themselves and what they're capable of. And then you go into every game believing you're going to win. Every game believing you could win. And that's a good thing. They need that infusion of life and confidence and belief.
I was going to say, you worry about a letdown after somehow this team, I shouldn't say somehow, it wouldn't be an impossibility. If they go 3-0, you worry about, okay.
I want to worry about that.
Are they going to let down against Boston College at home? And it's like, man, or they could be filled with unbelievable confidence and then just go play even better. Like, that does happen. You get instilled with confidence. You start believing in yourself. You play better than you were 2 weeks before.
Especially when you've been through the crap they've been through.
Yes.
I mean, all these guys have been through. I mean, even the guys that aren't even the new guys, the transfers that came from South Carolina and Oregon, and it's not like they've all been at great places.
No, their career has not been rosy up to this point. That's why they were in the portal.
So you would think that hunger would still be there after winning a few games.
I don't worry about them settling for anything. I just want to see what they play like after they believe, believe, because there's evidence, not just because we bought in and we've worked hard, but look what happened. We won, we beat this team, and then we turn around and won at Louisville. That'd be a cool thing.
It'd be cool to find out.
Buddy, wouldn't it? That would change the tenor of this show on a day, every Tuesday, right? We'd be talking about national championship.
Yeah, why aren't we ranked? Why aren't the Noles ranked?
Well, they would be.
Well, you think 3-0.
3-0, they're ranked.
3-0, they're 19th, I think.
Yeah, 3-0, they're ranked.
Yeah.
Those Warchant subscriptions are through the roof.
My goodness gracious.
To the moon.
We might double them.
Yeah.
I'm all about that. I think there's a bonus structure in place if we could double it. Let's go for it.
I'll talk to Gene.
Yeah, let's make it happen, Ira. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Hi, this is Dr. Marianne Arbalou, candidate for the Leon County School Board District 1. Did you know that our schools are experiencing academic and financial declines? Evidence that we need a leadership change. With my credentials, skills, and diverse work experience, I will strive to improve the use of your tax dollars. We've had enough tax increases. I will work to increase experiential learning opportunities. We know that students learn better by doing. And we should create more entrepreneurial programs where students learn about business and don't simply get jobs, but become job creators. I will be transparent and accountable. Your voice matters, and I want to rebuild trust. And I'll advocate for better salary and career initiatives for all staff, focusing on more support for our teachers. My name is Marianne Arbalou, and I'm asking for your vote on August 23rd for Leon County School Board District 1. Thank you.
Paid for and approved by Marianne Arbalou for Leon County School Board District 1.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
For many in the workforce, their goal is to climb the company ladder. Often the climb requires a move to another city, and that's especially true in our industry. I'm Jay of Paul's Termite and Pest Control. If you rise the ranks of our competitors, there's a good chance moving up means moving away. Why? Because they're not local companies. They're from places like Orlando, Atlanta, Salt Lake City, and even Europe. That's certainly not the case with our employees. We're a company that was founded in the Big Bend and remains locally owned. When Paul's Termite and Pest Control employees advance, they remain in the Tallahassee area. Don't trust the safety of your family and pets from disease-carrying pests or the structure of your biggest investment from termites to people who may be here today and gone tomorrow. Trust Paul's Termite and Pest Control, a company that has serviced thousands of our neighbors right here for over 50 years. Being local really does matter in our industry because local problems require local solutions. Paul's Termite and Pest Control are the Big Bend's local experts for the elimination of termites or any other pest, and a greener lawn too. Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hi, this is Dustin Rivers. Today, I humbly ask for your vote as I look to be your next county commissioner for District 5. I'm a lifelong resident of District 5 and look forward to serving you, your family, and our entire community. It's time to elect people who solve problems on a daily basis, and I will bring that unique perspective to our local leadership with my private sector experience. Please take 5 minutes today and get out and vote. Dustin Rivers, District 5. Paid for and approved by Dustin Rivers for County Commission, District 5.
A lifelong Florida farmer, Wilton Simpson, is ready to be Florida's next Commissioner of Agriculture. A devoted husband, father, and grandfather, Wilton Simpson grew up on his family's chicken farm in Trilby. One of us, Wilton shares our conservative values and, like any farmer, believes in working sun up to sun down. And Wilton's brought that same farmer's work ethic to Tallahassee as state Senate president. Simpson's fought to cut taxes for Florida families and fought for parents to have a say in their children's education. 100% pro-life, endorsed by the NRA for defending our Second Amendment rights. Wilton knows we have to crack down on illegal immigration. And Wilton Simpson has the complete and total endorsement of his friend and ally, Governor Ron DeSantis. In the Republican primary on August 23rd, vote for conservative farmer Wilton Simpson for Florida Commissioner of Agriculture. Paid political advertisement paid for by RSLC Florida IE PAC, P.O. Box 772516, Miami, Florida 33177, independently of any candidate or committee.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Let's get on a roll here, boys. Mike writes, will we see a kick or punt return for a touchdown this weekend? Yes.
This weekend?
This weekend.
This weekend.
Yes, you're going, yeah, you're calling your shot.
This weekend, yeah. Yeah, if you're going to do it, this would be the weekend.
They're not going to get a ton of opportunities you wouldn't think. You wouldn't hope in
punt
kick returns. Punt returns, yeah.
Lots of punt returns.
But not kick returns.
To the hizzy.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, man,
Mike is going to take one.
I could see it. I feel like who did DJ Matthews have one against? It was a game like this.
Miami. I was at that game, and we lost.
Yeah, that put them up 27-7 in the third
game was
quarter.
over if we didn't choke it away.
Yeah, you remember that. Kind of cost Willie his job in hindsight, if you think about it. If he had beaten Miami the year before, I think he still stays around even after losing to him.
Drop back to pass on third down.
You know, I was the celebration of the Miami comeback was felt by yours truly more than most as a fountain of beer was dumped on me from above. Those Miami fans are all class always. What a game it was that day.
Yeah.
What a game it was. My buddy Matt Britton grabbed my arm and saying, let it go. Let it go. We're outnumbered.
That would have been a great video, though.
Yeah, it would have been, but then I would have gotten jumped because I think I identified the guy who was anyhow. Sorry. Kevin writes, Ira, as a fellow ketchup on eggs guy, I need to know if you have a go-to brand for this delicious condiment. For me, it's Heinz. Hunt's is terrible. What say you?
It's weird that they even sell those other brands because it's
Yeah, I'm
Heinz.
a
It's
Heinz
Heinz
guy.
all
It's
the way.
always
It's got to be
Heinz.
Heinz. But man, I had people rallying around me on social media about the scrambled eggs with ketchup.
Well, a lot of deranged
I'm
people
not
out
the
in the world.
freak that you guys think I am.
A lot of people were in the military. They don't know any better, so they had to have that because they were desperate times.
Yeah, well,
and all
the eggs they serve our soldiers,
powdered,
it's ridiculous.
nasty.
Like, why wouldn't they get great
They
food?
don't
They get the
treat them-
worst
yeah,
food.
so
They
they
get
get-
like prison house
and they
food.
know it's awful, so they give them ketchup.
Yeah, this will take the taste away.
Serving 10 years at Rayford.
Yeah, that's what you get.
You got
a lot of ketchup. A lot of ketchup.
But not Heinz.
Yeah, not Heinz. Which is delicious. I asked Jeff and Tom this last week, who would they have given honor to break the rock? We now know it's JT, but who would be your all's picks? So, boys?
I like Travis. I'll go with that.
I think they were always going to Jordan Travis, but that's just me.
Jordan Travis or Cooper Lovett. Coop did it, I guess, earlier. Coop did it like at the end of the summer workouts.
I could say
Lovett
Lovett
could have been
or
there.
Jamie Robinson. Those are Jamie Robinson, man. He's just a really, really good football player and pretty good leader. It would appear.
Noles and Dogs writes, realistically, is the goal to go 4-3 in the first 7 games, then after the second bye, go 4-1 to finish the season 8-4? Thoughts? Thanks for the great content. And oh, by the way, it's just $1.
Yeah,
just $1.
Just $1. Just $1. I like it. Yeah. So he's asking. He did provide the schedule for us while we were sitting here.
I was going to look it up.
Okay, so you got to win one of the LSU or Louisville games. You're going to beat Duquesne, so that would put you at 2-1. Then you got to go 3-1, Boston College, 4. Yeah, I think that's the right answer.
Yeah, but then what are the last? I mean, you got at Miami.
You're going to lose to. You're going to lose to NC State.
No, he said 4-3 on the front.
Yes,
end.
right. Because your wins are going to be against Wake, Boston College, either Louisville or LSU, and then Duquesne. Those are your wins.
Or either Louisville, LSU, or Clemson. You could win. You could win one of those.
You're going to be a decided underdog against both NC State and Clemson.
Yeah, but that could get you to 5-2. Like I don't.
No, but
Who's the fourth loss?
Third loss.
Who's the third loss?
Well, if
LSU,
you only
one of
beat,
LSU or Louisville.
Yeah.
But then you'd be 5-3 with Georgia Tech.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
That's what he's saying. You're going to go 4-1 in the second half.
Yeah, I'm just clarifying.
So you'd win the last.
So your loss would be to either Miami or Florida, but you're going to beat one of those two, and then in his scenario, and of course you're going to beat Syracuse and Louisiana and Georgia Tech.
If you come out of the Clemson game, whether you beat them or not, if you come out of the Clemson game 4-3, you feel real good about getting to 7 wins, and pretty bullish about getting 8 wins. I would think you've had a pretty good season. You put
Boston
College
yourself in a
and Wake.
position. Yeah, it's
for around here. You've had a good season for these parts in the last 5 years. You will have had to have won all your home games except maybe Clemson. You would have beaten LSU or Louisville. That's a good feather in your cap.
You know, it's weird when you look at the schedule. It seems to me you're going to win a game you don't expect to win, and you're going to lose a game you don't expect to lose. It just can't be too many of those on the other side of the ledger where you're like, really, you lost to Wake without. If they don't have their starting quarterback in that game and you end up losing to them at home,
that's tough.
It could be a long year.
But
I think Florida State needs to win that game, even if Hartman does play.
That's
I just
fine.
Think you're at home.
I'm seeing,
where the program is now, you don't need to be losing at home to freaking Wake Forest.
Well, I agree, but they're a ranked club who drubbed you a year ago, has good receivers. They're going to expect. I mean, I'm with you. I think they should beat Wake Forest.
Kenzie Milton's not walking through that door.
Thank God, because
come on,
sorry.
Sorry. The forever Noel.
You provided it for me there, Ira. Sorry about that. Best case scenario, we get to 8 wins. Do you think Norvell gets the funds to upgrade the staff? Who stays? Who goes? I'm not going to get into people who are going to get fired. It doesn't seem appropriate at the start of the season. I think we all know there are a couple positions a lot of people would like to see changes made at. He will get an extension. I imagine raises will happen. The investment in football is very real. If he wants to make a change, he'll have an opportunity.
Yeah.
No, a fair answer.
I mean, Yep. And maybe funnel a little more money towards the NIL.
With Span's progress being ahead of what most predicted, how does he have the most impact of the offense early on before there's so much of him on tape? Is it a decoy or as an actual threat? Well, I think he's valuable both ways. I don't think he has to catch an 80-yard touchdown pass to change the way defenses play Florida State. He has to showcase that speed. He has to have a moment where he's open as he runs behind somebody and they're like, whoa, because then you realize there's real potential to take the roof off.
And the difference, again, the difference between him and Tamari and Terry, in my opinion, is he has a desire and is putting the effort to learn more routes and to be able to run more routes. And so it may not just be on a fly.
Yeah.
He may catch a post. He may there's things he can do that I think they're going to get the ball in his hands. So, yeah, I think he's going to be active in both areas.
Tom writes, I'm stoked about Saturday, but why did the ACC network force us to play at 5 p.m.? Tailgating is going to be like hanging out on the surface of the sun. Everyone make sure to bring your tack glasses. It's going to be bright out there.
You need to be up at Hotel Indigo is where they need to be,
Well,
Jeff.
I was just about to say that. Ira, good call, baby. Hotel Indigo, beautiful. 2:00. Myself, T. Lizzie.
By the way, if you haven't been there, this view that Matthew just put up on the screen here,
That is the actual view.
That is your view. If you're going to be up there at the pregame party with us hanging out, you're going to be looking at that tailgating lot and at Doe Campbell Stadium. It's a beautiful view, and we've got the bar.
You'll get to see us too.
Yes.
That's not part of the view right now that you see on your screen if you're watching on YouTube, but the Warchant crew will be there as well.
I'm looking forward to it. I went to the roof with Gene and Tom last week and went up there and hung out and got to see that view. And I envisioned, as you could maybe do when you look at this picture, that the intramural fields are packed with diehard Florida State fans throwing a football around,
couple Duquesne fans
drinks
sprinkled in there.
Diehard Duquesne fans making
they're
the roadie.
coming down.
Yeah, absolutely. They travel well.
Yeah.
Good point.
You might see some nice sights around.
Yeah, it is Florida State. So cash bar, game day buffet service, pregame show. You can watch it. You can come there and be part of it. Hang out. I can't wait. Looking forward to it. I'm going to hang around afterwards for a little while, guys.
Let's do it.
I think I might have to. Nathaniel Hornblower is a legend in these parts, and he writes, fellas, am I wrong for thinking we may look back at Darius getting run at center here as a pivotal moment? Obviously, we want Maurice back as soon as possible for depth there either way. But I'm not sure a healthy Darius at center might not give this offensive line the best upside anyway later in the year. Side note, I made some register sausage to go along with some cabbage this weekend, and it was freaking awesome and healthy. Low carb for slimming that ass.
That's my man. How do you guys feel about cabbage?
I like cabbage.
I'm not for
cabbage.
it.
I'm
delicious.
fine with cabbage.
Cabbage.
I mean, nobody goes out of their way to eat cabbage.
No, I'm not racing around to buy cabbage, but if it's there, I'll eat it.
Ugh.
Cabbage is good, man. Corned beef and cabbage.
I just don't think you like the name.
I mean, cabbage is a goofy name.
It sounds like something you wouldn't eat,
name.
but surprisingly, and it takes on the taste of how you season it. You got to do some things with cabbage.
Well,
Did you guys come to? You came to our wedding, right? Did you?
No, I wasn't invited.
Well, that's not true.
It is true.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, I wasn't invited.
That's not true.
You were invited to mine.
Got lost in the mail.
You were invited to mine. It didn't come.
We were supposed to come. It's just
things happen.
Well, my mom made some stuffed cabbage.
at
the wedding. You would have loved it.
I would have loved it. It sounds great.
Stuffed with what?
It's hamburger meat, raisins, tomato sauce, rice.
Raisins.
We're having stuffed cabbage Friday night.
Well, if you're
watching,
I'm spitting them out at your face.
The raisins feel a little shady. I like raisins on their own,
there's
but
a little sweetness to it.
Okay,
stuffed cabbage.
I'll try. I'm not a softie like this guy over here. I'll give it a go, but it seems
I'll eat some stuffed cabbage, but if there's raisins in it, I'm spitting them out in your face.
If Kim didn't invite you guys to the wedding, she's going to hear it tonight.
I wasn't invited. I wasn't there. I'd have loved to have been there.
He yearns for the day that he can bring back time.
I kind of wish you would get divorced just so I could go to your next wedding.
Yeah.
You gave me a second chance.
I know, that's right.
Ben writes, hey, guys, appreciate you helping us through the offseason. My question is related to expectations. We used to expect to blow teams like Duquesne out of the water with backups playing by halftime. We haven't ever had that game under Mike Norvell. Well, it blew UMass out.
UMass was, yeah.
What does people forget about that game very easily, but
very forgettable.
What does improvement look like for us this weekend? Winning by a certain number, just winning, or so? Man, Ben, your expectations are way too low, buddy.
If we eke out a W,
if we find a way 7-6 and walk out of there a victor, all's right. Ben, if they're not up by 35 points in the third quarter, start getting pissed, okay, buddy?
Jeff's gonna be out there. I know Jacksonville State, and you're no Jacksonville State.
Yeah. I mean, like I told you, man, these guys are well coached, disciplined.
Matthew Jones wrote a novel. I don't know, guys. I mean, sweet Jesus.
Corey thinks you should have highlighted
just the parts that matter.
Yeah,
I'll have to check this one out. Matthew, I'll get back to yours during the break. We'll see if this is relevant. I mean, my God, you had 15-tier question here. Let's I don't know we're doing all that. Let's get back to some of the
you're gonna go to Twitter. They're a little more concise.
Oh, we've been going back and forth to Twitter. We're doing it. Does Norvell have final call on play calling? Yes.
Yep.
By the way, that was asked of us by Boner.
Sweet.
Could be Bonner.
About time he checked in.
Might have been Dusty Bonner.
May have been. Burke writes.
Matt Bonner.
Dusty Boner. It's a good name. It's a good porn name.
Burke writes, Norvell averaged 8 games per season, scoring 40-plus points. His last 3 years at Memphis. We've only broken that number 3 times total over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Over under 3.5 games this season, scoring 40 or more.
I'm going to
pulling the schedule back out.
That's tough because you're going to do it on Saturday.
You've got a chance.
You probably
Saturday.
Well, you don't have a chance. You better do it Saturday.
Louisiana, you got a chance.
Georgia Tech, you got a chance.
Georgia Tech is a good choice, Ira.
Maybe Syracuse.
It's on the road.
I'm going to take under and say they'll do it 3 times.
I do too.
Yeah,
yep.
I'm going to go with 3.
Yep, I say the under. Could be 0.
Also, style of play, the way they want to play. I think 3. I'm going under. You're going to say over. You want to say everything positive right now.
I'm just still thinking about Dusty Boner.
He did not write the show, guys. Next week, Seth writes, "Good afternoon, gentlemen, excluding Johnny Wilson, who I'm sure would be everybody's top choice. Who do you guys think will be second on the team in touchdown receptions? My guess is Malik McClain, but curious to hear your thoughts." That's a good question. Good question, Seth.
Could be Micah.
I think Pittman. I like Micah. I think Micah's the kind of guy you get him the ball at the 4, and he's got to split 2 dudes. He's going to split 2 dudes and get in the end zone.
Or run him over.
That's what I'm saying. He'll find a way to try to get in the end zone and get in the end zone. It means like he is going to fight to get that last half yard. So, yeah, I'd say Micah Pittman.
Did you see him wearing that dude out at practice the other day? Got a little dust up.
Oh, yeah.
With another dude, and he Micah ain't backing down.
No, and we learned that pretty quickly.
Yeah,
we learned that pretty quickly. This guy's name on Twitter is too good, but I'm not going to go there. If each of you were on the survival show, writes Hugh, alone. I've never heard of this show. There's a show called Alone. Do you guys know it?
I think you're out in the wilderness alone.
I would assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm using my context clues. I think I can figure it out.
Good job. Way to break it down, Corey. Who gives up first, and why is it Corey Clark?
It's definitely me. I was going to say.
All right. And then he goes on to say, if you were guaranteed $1 million if you made it to day 20, could you last that long? If not, why? So what are you experiencing besides the conditions of being outdoors by yourself?
I think you have to make your own food. You have to make your own campground. You have to figure out how you're going to sleep.
I'm a dead man. I can't make anything. I mean, I can keep time on the drums. So if we're making music, I can maybe help you out there. But if we're like physically making
something, that's not going to help us out in the woods, man. We're trying to survive. And he's like, hey, let me count you in.
I got you guys.
It really depends on the environment, because if it's it's
cold or hotter than Hades, I'm done.
Cold, I'm fine with. We're out in the desert, I'm fine with.
Is this naked and alone or alone?
I think it might be naked.
If it's naked,
naked and afraid.
But if it's in the woods with bugs, that's a problem.
You're a goner. You see a bug in the real world now, you're freaked out.
Sounds like I might win. I might be. I'm getting good money now.
Yeah, you're like me, you guys are talking. Neither one of us would do well. No, but we'll all ask Ira. Ira's the first one out.
It depends on the environment. If we're not
there are bugs in the wilderness, Ira. You're a done deal.
What if it's cold? The bugs are all hiding.
Yeah, but then how are you going to stay warm?
I'll figure it out, man.
Yeah.
Oh, well, okay. Well, there you go. You figured it out. That's a perfect answer.
I'll wrap myself around some cabbage.
I don't.
Perfect.
I'll find a way.
I'm not afraid necessarily. I just don't know.
Cabbage is the perfect.
I mean, I've eaten coyote.
Can any of you start a fire?
No.
I mean, I've tried.
No, you kind of got.
I mean, I can with a lighter.
The fire is the first thing that matters. You got to be able to start a fire,
and I
guys.
Can't.
Well, actually, it's either knowing where the water is or starting a fire, but both are going to be very important. And I have no clue.
I can go get water.
Well, you think you can. You don't know where the hell the water is.
You get divining
rod. You're going to look at the North Star and tell us that water's that way.
Yeah.
You're not. No.
I can do that. I mean, I just
we're going to walk in a circle, and I'm going to come back and be like, "We're in a circle, Corey. Give me the map."
The Blair Witch Project. We just keep seeing the same woods over and over.
Man, I don't think any of us would.
And how do we? Even if we kill an animal, I don't know how to.
You got to start the fire,
but you have to skin it and prepare it. You don't have to.
I can skin it, but
you could eat it. You could eat it raw.
Oh, I mean, no, you got to start the fire. I'm not eating raw anything.
Well, you are to survive.
No.
You're going to die instead of eating the raw coyote.
I'm finding the river and I'm catching fish and ripping them in half.
That's the way to go.
That's the way to
find the river. We're going to find the river.
Got to find the river, gang. That's the only way out of this mess.
Just get
to the river.
Perfect.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Our local news now.
A Bainbridge high schooler was struck by a car while walking across the street, according to Bainbridge Public Safety. It happened on a road beside Bainbridge Middle School around 3:30 p.m. on Monday. The student was taken to Bainbridge Memorial Hospital for treatment. This is a developing story and will be updated as more information becomes available. Officers are investigating a homicide following an early Sunday morning shooting. Authorities responded to the area of US 90 and South Jackson Street around 1:45 a.m. Officers reportedly discovered a black sedan riddled with bullets and a man lying on the ground next to the vehicle. The victim has now been identified as 20-year-old Quadre Kirkland. Kirkland was transported to HCA Florida, where he was pronounced dead from a gunshot wound. QPD has a person of interest at this time, but is not publicly identifying that person. This is an active homicide investigation. Anyone with any information should contact QPD at 850-627-7111 or Big Ben Crime Stoppers at 850-574-TIPS. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. High temperatures reach up to 90 this afternoon under cloudy skies with scattered thunderstorms likely. Northwest winds around 5 miles per hour. Scattered thunderstorms again tonight. Lows dip down to about 73. Cloudy skies expected. Scattered thunderstorms likely tomorrow. High temperatures reach up to 86. Overcast skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 90.
Every great construction project, whether it's a new addition or renovation, starts with a plan. At T-Spark, we are excited when our clients contact us to assist with that plan. Through our team of architects, draftsmen, engineers, we can help you with your project's planning and design, potentially saving costs in the long run. Whether you have a residential or commercial project, we look forward to working with you. Call us today or visit us at tsparkconstruction.com. License number CGC 1525336.
Hi, this is Dustin Rivers. Today, I humbly ask for your vote as I look to be your next county commissioner for District 5. I'm a lifelong resident of District 5 and look forward to serving you, your family, and our entire community. It's time to elect people who solve problems on a daily basis, and I will bring that unique perspective to our local leadership with my private sector experience. Please, take 5 minutes today and get out and vote. Dustin Rivers, District 5. Paid for and approved by Dustin Rivers for County Commission, District 5.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
More questions as we roll on Big River. Stevens writes, I finally ponied up and joined Warchant.
Oh, thanks, Stevens.
For a buck. Which Nole do you think will be the first out the gate on Saturday?
Straight to the limo. We're bringing back straight to the limo.
I like it. Straight to the limo is who? Which
I'm
one,
saying
guys?
Trayshawn Ward.
I might go Trey Benson.
One of the two running backs that are going to get the most amount of carries. You think going to take it to the hizzy?
I think one of them, maybe the first drive.
I'll go with Toafili.
We're just going all the backs.
Ward's a good pick, Ira, because they're going to start him. Right?
He didn't say Ward.
Oh, Ward's a good pick. Corey.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
He just assumed it was me because it was a good pick.
Because it was a good pick, yeah. He didn't disagree with it.
Ryan writes, fellas, final offseason question. More likely to happen. A, Corey flies on a plane that was just delayed for the last-minute engine inspection.
I've done that before. That was not fun.
B, Jeff gets out of the car in the middle of North Dakota for a selfie with a bison. No, right? And C, Ira shaves that sweet dome after a 6-0 start. See you on Bourbon Street, boys.
that ain't happening.
Ever?
More likely to happen, I guess the answer is Corey actually staying on a plane in which they tell you your flight is delayed while they fix the engine.
Even then, what are the odds that they don't fix it?
Right.
That's
a very mature attitude.
There haven't been a lot of plane crashes lately. I've been paying attention. I've been clocking the airline industry. They are due. They're overdue.
Ooh, good question, Sean. What would you be more surprised to see? Just a 4-win season or an 11-win season? Ooh.
11-win season.
I'd be more surprised with 4 wins, man.
What?
That schedule?
That's crazy.
You can't win 4 games with that schedule. You can only win 4 games with that schedule.
Sure you can.
That would be ridiculous.
That schedule, you think they're going to win 11?
I know, but they better not win 4.
Well, I know they better not, but I would say the odds are going 4-8, going 11-1.
So only win 4 games.
You beat Duquesne, you beat Louisiana,
Georgia Tech,
and at Syracuse, or Georgia
and you
Tech
lose
and Boston
every
College.
other game.
I mean, we what program you been covering, bud?
No.
Like 11-1 with that schedule would be
I'm
stunning.
not saying I expect it. I'm just saying I think you're an 8-win team.
You break the tie.
I think you're an 8-win team, and you need something to go right in some coin flip games.
Well, I mean,
but going over in every game against any team with a pulse,
well,
that's hard to wrap my mind around.
If I'm going with the odds,
we're out there at practice.
What if Jordan Travis got hurt?
Oh, hush your mouth.
I'm just saying they could quickly be a 4-win team at that
but
point.
But also, we probably think they're about a 7.5-win team, right? So,
even with Jordan Travis, they're going to win more than 4 games.
Well, right, but they're a 7.5-win team-ish.
They're not going to do either.
So
they're not going to win 11, and they're not going to only win 4.
But that was my point. Is like going
I
up
would
3.5.
lean towards the 4. If you got a couple key injuries, they're not.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like it.
To hell with both of
you. It's easier to fall apart than it is to.
Yeah, and they haven't had any damn
season.
success at all. So if something were to go wrong, you could see that spiral.
I would say the chances of a 4-win season are like 2%, 2 to 5%. The chances of an 11-win season are
6%.
Okay, fair. Well,
see, like how I did that? I figured that out in my head that quick.
It's like prices.
That's more than 2 to 5.
Jeff writes, "You guys are the best sports show out there."
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Jeff. This is Jeff.
All right, Jeff. Is this Jeff Culhane, the new voice of the Seminoles?
It's not.
Oh,
but he's thinking it.
Yeah, you know he is.
Headliner since the start, writes Jeff.
Okay.
Jeff, since Corey and Ira incessantly argue about questions being asked, can they pick their top 5 questions to read from the platform of their choice for a total of 10 and leave the rest to you?
I mean, that would take some work.
That way,
it's a great idea, except I like to be kind of surprised with the question. Okay. I don't want to plan an answer.
That way, they are satisfied with the questions that were read. We get the best vetted questions, and you can move at a natural pace, not rapid fire.
Jeff didn't like the rapid fire.
Well, a lot of people responded. They said,
suggestion by
Cameron
Jeff.
made a great point that week by doing the insane pacing.
Yeah.
People were like,
this is what they want.
I don't want this either. I don't like this. Why don't you try to evolve your music there, Bob Dylan? Oh, what's this electric guitar? What are you doing? Hey, let's get back to the folk. I didn't come for this. Andrew writes, boys, let's limber up and get ready to deliver a bevy of victory sausage sit-ins this year. We've all been wondering just how good Jordan Travis could be this year, so here's a parallel. Could he be Denard Robinson with fewer interceptions? That would mean accounting for at least 3,000 yards of total offense and over 30 touchdowns. Thoughts?
I was just thinking about all the sympathy sausage that would be had if you
we only won 4 games.
It'd be a lot of sympathy.
It'd be a lot of drunkenness.
Yeah,
that's a 4. Off to cover this 2-win team, boys.
Yep. Hopefully, they can beat Louisiana.
Yeah, I don't know what the ceiling is for Jordan.
I mean, he can get to 3,000 yards total offense because he's going to run for 500 or 600. That means you're throwing for 200 yards a game. And he, I looked this up, by the way. So he's rushed for in his career, not counting sacks. He's rushed for like 1,680 yards, which is 500 more yards than all of the FSU running backs combined in their careers.
They got 2 pretty good running backs right now and emerging 2 others.
Yeah,
so I don't think Jordan's going to have to do as much because he's got a better receiving core. He's going to have more time to throw. I agree with you on the yardage. I don't know that's going to be interesting to see what Jordan does. I mean, he can pick a number this weekend if he wanted.
I would say 3,000 yards total offense should be the minimum of. I mean, look, man. What's the Virginia kid going to have? 4,500. What's Malik Cunningham going to have? 4,000. Like Jordan Travis should be able to get to 3,000 yards total offense if you obviously include his rushing.
Kyle writes, "We made it, gentlemen. I'll get right to it. Over under 54.5 points for the offense on Saturday. Over under 16.5 points allowed by the defense. Under on the defense.
I say under on both,
and I'm going to say over on the offense."
I should say under.
Under on the defense? Home to less than 16?
16, yeah.
That's a good question because, again, I don't know if I need to remind you. This is a well-coached team.
It's a program.
It's a sustained program.
There ain't no give up in that Duquesne squad either.
If you're going to be playing, if you do well, they're going to be playing your third stringers that don't play a ton and haven't played a lot of college football. Maybe they
every one of Florida State's third stringers and walk-ons would start at Duquesne.
Of course, but they don't. They're not a lot of. It's parity in college football, man. I mean, you're saying so you don't expect them to score a point?
Oh, they may score a point. Yeah, there's going to be a busted play. They could.
Well,
who
right.
knows?
That's why I think
but they're not going to score 17. Like I don't know.
What if
it's? I'm going over on the offense, under on the defense.
I'm going to go over on the offense and a tentative over on the defense.
Okay.
I say under on both. I'm looking at like a 48 to
25,
48 to 15. Don't ask me how they get to 15. They've got a great kicker. He's going to kick 5 field goals.
Okay. Matt writes, what college quarterback can run as well and play the option read? Remember how FSU used to never have the quarterback keep on the read? Like JT, baby, I can't think of what. Okay, Matt's high on Jordan Travis. It's not a question. Just an observation. Gents, over or under 3 special teams touchdowns this year? That's from Christopher.
Under. But they can be so much better. They just have 1 touchdown.
If they had 4 special teams touchdowns this year, that'd be huge. Well, special teams touchdown could be a block punt.
No, it could. A block field goal. I'm just saying if you can set up touchdowns,
Can't
that's
go
a
over
big
3.
deal.
That's an under.
That's a lot, man. Did the 93 team or the 13
that's
team
a
have
lot,
that?
yeah. Gator Kirk writes, good afternoon. The Flaming Spear has been stolen. Seminole Headlines has been tasked with getting it back. Who is the getaway driver in which to have to storm the dorm to secure the spear and neutralize any threats to the mission?
This is no offense to you, Ira, but I feel like we're going to have to climb over something, right? We're going to have to do some climbing.
I'll drive the getaway car.
And some obstacle. There's going to be some avoiding obstacles. So I feel like you're driving. You got it revved up.
That was
remember,
rich.
Remember when you were a kid and like you probably were the kid that could do it, like the people that could climb, like hop a fence.
Yeah,
I was the kid that
I could hop a fence.
You could hop a fence.
Yeah, that was a fence hopping Jesse.
I was just happy to just climb over it. Give me a second here. I'm gonna get over this fence.
Yeah.
I'll be with you, fellas.
But the dudes that would just like put a foot on top of it and
go.
Like,
yeah, Austin the Lurch.
Wasn't me, buddy.
The kids that could climb a tree really quickly, like they were
without branches
bear or something. Yeah, they're just running up like Spider-Man.
Garrett writes, I saw the depth chart, didn't see Ja'Kai Douglas. Is there an injury we don't know about? What's the deal with him on the depth chart?
We don't talk about injuries,
we don't
Jeff.
talk
What's the next
about
question?
injuries.
We don't talk about
Ashley Grant. Based on camp, what would you say would be the most unexpected? I don't know why I said your last name, Ashley. I apologize. What would you say would be the most unexpected, pleasant surprise to happen on the field Saturday? 0 special teams blunders? Travis only needing to run on, say, design plays?
I mean, that would be a positive.
Both of those would be positives. Would they be surprising, though?
0 special teams blunders would possibly be a surprise. It's never happened in the last few years.
Less than 4 penalties. What do you think about that? They were horrible in penalties last year.
They did get better as the year went on. I heard you and Aslan talking about that. And yes, their cumulative number was bad, but they did get better. And that's part of why they won games in the second half of the season. They stopped making so many mistakes. They were awful with penalties and turnovers in the first 4 or 5 weeks.
JD writes, fellas, love the show. I know lots of people like to ask how many wins does Mike need to keep the job, but I haven't heard many ask, how many wins would you feel confident in saying that Mike is going to succeed long-term, as in moving forward to win conference championships and go into the playoffs someday? Oh, wow. I don't know if they won 11 games this year, would you be like, okay, well, we're rolling now, but
I think if the way it has been developed, I would feel, if they win 8 to 9 games, man, I feel like it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I don't think,
I've been on the record over and over again saying I think Mike Norvell is a good coach. He needs something to go his way. They have to have a good season. If they can have that, maybe he can get the ball rolling. I believe in him as an X's and O's guy, and I believe his program setup is good. But, good coaches get fired too, so he's got to have a good year.
And I was thinking about this because when you mentioned earlier about...
I would say 9.
Okay.
9 would tell you?
Well, 9 would be like,
tell me in 10 seconds. All right, I'm getting yelled at over here.
You mentioned that 2010 team and how it caught the fans. I think if this team has a successful year, you can get that even though it's year 3, just because I think there's some excuses about what happened earlier.
I think it's fair. For Ira and Corey, I'm Jeff. Good job, Director Matthew. Thanks to all of you as well. Be good, everybody. We'll talk to you again real soon. Peace.